What's good? Horrified about the interview? It's not that deep, homie. Welcome, Surreal. How you doing? What's up, Justin? Snowballs, how you living? Jorkin, what's good? W's in the chat. What's up, Clicks? I put it in the title because I'm not trying to clickbait people. I don't have it ahead of time. He said he was, I think it said it was, he was posting it today. So I've been anxiously awaiting it the last like 2 hours when I figured that out. From what we saw, he tried to get Jimmy to swear on a Bible. So that's fun. I'm excited too. How y'all living? How was your day? I'm not gonna lie, I've been really anxious about this. I really want to cover it. I want to see what happens. It has been a while, Clicks. What's up, Watsonator? Banana Lake, that's a sick name. Holy shit, we got some people here. Is this going to be MrBeast's official response? I think as much of an official response as we're gonna get out of it realistically, yeah. What's up? What's up? So, this is what we have so far. Hold on, I'm very excited to see this. We don't have a time frame. Like I'm gonna be very real with you guys. What's up? Yo, a real response, fingers crossed. If we go over here, let me get my desktop up for you guys. This is what we have so far. Oh, nope, we want, one sec here. I'm gonna pause this so you guys can see. This is what we this is what we have so far.
Firstly, would you be willing to put your hand on this Bible and swear?
Oh my gosh, you actually have a Bible?
I have 2 Bibles.
Are you serious?
So, firstly,
yeah.
Would you be willing to...
That's what we got so far. What did you think about Pegasus's vid? I think he made a lot of good points. One particularly that he made a really good point of, which I didn't really cover. I kind of was blinded by all the other stuff. If you guys see the video post, just spam it in the chat. Let me know that it's up. I'm like constantly refreshing. I've refreshed this page more than anything in my life. Is an Oompaville video? Yes. So if we take a look here, oh, sorry, but back to it. What's up, Bogies? He posted, let's see here. Actually, I can just show you guys. I'm going to drop this Beast video. Oh, excuse me. Aiming to post tomorrow. That was on the 20th. It's the 22nd now. I thought he said something different. I'm going to drop this, then the video in World War III is going to pop off. Did he? He responded to someone making fun of him by posting a meme, which is really funny. Post tomorrow, yeah. And apparently it's not going to be a confrontation. I wouldn't have expected that from Mufaville. But yeah, I'm very excited. He also just released a game, which we could take a look at. But what do you guys want to see while we're waiting? What game should I play while we're chilling out and waiting for it? Binding of Isaac. Oh yeah, he said that. So yes, the good point that Pegasus had made. Let's not taint the waters, okay? Let's not assume that it's going to be horrible. Let's not go into the head frame. Like, let's not go into the headspace that whatever he says, it's not going to be useful, because like we can just make that assertion from what we end up seeing if that ends up being the case. Because he might just come clean and just be upfront and honest and admit those fuck ups and be real about it. But if he doesn't, then we can talk about that. But I don't want to. Let's not, in some famous words, let's not poison the well early, shall we? What do you guys have for what are your theories on how this is going to go? And while you put those in the message, the good point that Pegasus had put in his video that I didn't cover is that in regard to Dogpack making some assumptions about stuff that ended up not being true, Soggy had access to information that Dogpack never would have been able to attain. Like the interview with that guy in those 24 circles, or the interviews where he got to talk to those employees. Like there was some information that he just never would have had access to. So how could he have made a better judgment call than what he had made, like based off of what he clearly had in his own head, which was that there was something more nefarious going on. Oompa isn't going to give hard questions. Feel like it's kind of set up where they tell Jimmy what to say and it'll be vague. I mean, he was going to go to Pegasus, and I think a big thing about that is I don't think that he's set up to go to Oompaville because he's not going to ask hard questions or something. I think he chose Oompaville because Oompaville has platformed Dogpack a few times, in the same way that he was going to more Pegasus, which was like the heart of all of, like, a large part of the hate that like YouTube had started to garner against MrBeast. A lot of those people, or I would say the most people, were going to more Pegasus's channel. So I don't think that. If anything, I think he's prepped a way to respond to a lot of the points that are going to be thrown at him. But again, I don't want to like jump the gun. I'd rather just watch it and go off of what he says. Nothing is going to be off the cuff, I fear. I don't think so. Like, I think Pegasus didn't reference anything like that. So I don't think so. And like, here's the thing, right? The stuff that has come out that is, you know, really serious, things that haven't been addressed, like the Shadman stuff, or not the Shadman specifically, but like the art, him knowing if Ava was like that, the Amazon games, the issues that they've been having there, trying to think, the crypto information. Like, there are a lot of big things that haven't been addressed. And even if he were to try to, like, you know, sway some sort of public opinion, those things are still going to exist regardless of it if he doesn't choose to, you know, speak on them, you know? Pegasus is one of my favorite YouTubers for a while, so I'm glad he's gotten a lot of spotlight recently. Love him or hate him, the dude knows how to do well with videos, you know? Let's play MTG again soon. I'm so down. You think Dogpack will respond to Soggy Cereal, or do you think he stays quiet for now on? I don't know. I think Tom Dark, I was watching something of his, and he said every day that Dogpack doesn't tweet about it is more likely increasing the odds that he's going to make some sort of like video response. But I don't know. He hasn't. I haven't heard anything like exclusive about that. So it's up to that. Also, speaking about the Soggy video, yeah, if you guys have questions about Soggy's video, let me know, because I've been mulling it over too, and I think, again, like, my video was already large, and I think I didn't include some important things. I liked August the Duck's video about it, though. Did you see Soggy's tweet apparently sending a video around to people instead of responding? Yes, I put that in my video. I think it's a really, well, there's two sides of it, right? It's a dumb thing. Let me put the music back on. It's, on one hand, it kind of looks like, all right, well, you're setting this because it's not being, you know, slanderous and whatnot, like what Soggy said. You could also link people to Crypto One, but at the same hand, if you're in the position that Beast is, like, let's just be hypothetical here. Let's be realistic, logical. I know you guys, I myself included, have put him in a negative light for a long time. Just think about it like this. He has been, what we see from Dogpack, he's made a lot of mistakes in regard to his investigations and what he was publishing and putting public, and people were just assuming was the truth. If you had been enduring that for almost half a year, it's getting to, and then a video gets put out that seems to do a really good job at defending you, why wouldn't you send that to the people that, like, why wouldn't you send that to big content creators and stuff, being like, hey, this is a big deal. Like, this is a, what is that called? Venerating? Is that what the word is? It's a very, maybe like a cathartic video for him. And so he wants those people to see it. He wants that to get coverage because it's finally, you know, giving him, at the very least, giving him some credit about things that didn't actually end up standing up to Soggy's research. So, like, I think there's two sides of that. It's not super easy, although my first reaction to it was, that's kind of scummy that you'd be doing that. And I feel like Soggy was absolutely being used in that sense. I don't think Soggy was in on it. I think MrBeast or I think Jimmy and, like, you know, that whole PR team, I think there was a lot of planning behind the scenes that Soggy was just not aware of. And I, like, that's my initial, but I also see the point of, this is a very, you know, what is that word? It's a very cathartic thing for him. So I see both sides of that. I get why Soggy did it, though. While there are things I really disliked about Soggy's video, Dogpack has not been the most mature person in this situation, not by a long shot. And again, like, I've talked to Dogpack about this. Like, I've kept it $150 with him about when I'm like, yeah, this is kind of fucked up, this is bad, but I was guilty of the same shit. Like I used that, like when the CP stuff came out, the cheese pizza, I did the same thing. I posted it, like it was one of my thumbnails in my A/B testing. So like, I said to him during that, I was like, yeah, that's not a good idea. And like when I was talking with Nicholas Diorio, I was very honest about it doesn't look like this is a targeted attack. It looks like people are making fun of her because of what was going on, and they all just thought it was funny, So I like to be honest with him, but it's kind of like all my friends. Like I do look at him as a friend of sorts. Like we have, chatted, not just MrBeast related. But I hope that I get called out for my fuck ups by my friends in the same way that I'm going to tell them when I think they are. There's something sketchy about Sagi's video though. He often gives Jimmy about stuff that he is guilty of, and then also puts down Weddle about his experience. I don't know if that makes his entire video shady. If anything, for me, that seems more honest, because like that's his point of view, right? Like, I think that so here's the thing. For it to be shady, we would have to assume that Sagi is acting in bad faith in some way. And I don't get that from his video. I get that he has different opinions on the matters than other people do. And for me, it makes his video seem more legitimate with the stuff that he's covering, because I don't think it's bad faith. I think he just genuinely also believes those things, if that makes sense. What's up, Chance? What's up, Frisk? Welcome to stream. What's up, Vader? Is Dogpack making a response? I don't know. Sagi wanted to marry Dogpack, but we have a Tom and Jerry situation, so they have to act like they hate each other. Quintio exposed video. Oh shit. Saga Serial's videos, it doesn't matter if Dogpack good or bad, we should focus on MrBeast. Absolutely, but I think Sagi does a good job of, like, I think I was also in that same thing of like, when it comes to the, like, good points that Dogpack has made. Been a minute. Last time I saw you had more hair. Dear God. Yeah, I shaved my head. Also, things have changed a lot since then. That was back during the initial Jake Weddle interviews. Damn. I do remember your name though. It's a very memorable name. I might have just gotten sidetracked. I apologize. Maybe it's dropping at 8. Fingers crossed. Let's refresh. Nothing yet. Let me check his Twitter. Will the Fortnite games with dog change your opinion? No, like, I mean, we had a lot of fun with that. It'd be cool to do some gaming stuff in the future. Realistically, I don't know if Dogpack comes out of this with like being able to post on like YouTube on social media. Like, I think he is kind of forever connected to this. So like, unless he makes some like a faceless channel and posts nothing about anything drama related and maybe just does like gaming videos, outside of that, I don't see a world where he isn't always going to be followed by this. Sagi is an agent working for the Russian Secret Service that's even more secretly run by Jimmy. Based. Are there more than 21 viewers? Believe it or not, yes. I'm not just playing a fucking video game. We're covering that today. Okay, Quinn, time for the hard-hitting questions for the totally real exposed video. Boxers or briefs? I think I gotta go with briefs. Briefs I enjoy those more. Have you seen both Harmful Opinion about Sagi? What does that mean, way over? He's very talented for YouTube, a shame. Yeah, he made a lot of fuck ups in terms of journalism. I wouldn't say that this would be his route. He always said he likes to be behind this screen more. Right. Where I'm at currently, not sure where everyone stands, but I'm under the impression nobody right now is to be trusted, and we need to just glean consensus or hear it from the horse's mouth. I like that you use the word glean, but I think we do need to just go into it with an open mind. I'm not trying to say give Jimmy the benefit of the doubt, but I know that it's not going to be useful or conducive to having a discussion about it if we're not going to actually listen to it and try to accept the information he gives first before we make a judgment. Thoughts on Dogpack begging for his job back and possibly has a motive versus Jimmy? I think it definitely exists. Like, don't get me wrong. I think those things exist. I just don't think that they are the complete running power of, like, I don't think it's his complete, what is that called? I don't think it is revolving, what is that called? Encircling of his entire motive behind what he did, like what he posted and whatnot. What's up, Boy Tiger? Oh, you're totally good way over. I'm sorry. There is so much nuance. Okay, yes. I kind of wanted to bring this up. When it turns into talking about, like, did he make these changes maliciously to, like, fuck over the company? I don't think it's like as simple as that. I'm gonna get like coping shit, but like the way I think about it is when he made these choices, and I have done this in my videos that I've posted, there are times where I won't address something specific in it, or I won't include everything in it, because in my head I'm like, well, people are going to respond to this in like a different way than like, I see the counter argument already, and in my head, which is dumb and I shouldn't do it, but in my head I go, that counterpoint I can already counter, or I think it's not useful, so I just choose to not include a part of it in my video. Realistically, it could actually be a good point that I would have to research, but at that point, it takes so much time that I won't do it. And in my head, like a general thought I have is that Dogpack isn't always like doing this, I don't think Dogpack is acting maliciously and like master planning each of these things that he does. I think a lot of them were legitimate fuck ups or just didn't do enough research, didn't do enough of these things. Dogpack is a noob. In that way, yes, I kind of agree. I don't agree with your glazing of the MrBeast thing. And does that make sense? Like, I don't find it, especially based off our interactions off of it, I find it really hard to believe that he like concocted this to fuck over his company. Because like at some level you have to go, if you think that he's that intelligent, don't you think he's also intelligent enough to know that the company has billions and they'd be able to, you know, hire just a person to just figure out how each way he's doing this maliciously and fucking them over, and then he's done? Because like if you think he's smart enough to master plan it, I feel like he's smart enough to also recognize that. So like truly, I think it comes from a naivety, maybe, yes, a bit of like he's upset, which is what, you know, prompted him to start doing some research. And then this is where it ends up. Oompaville, for people that are just coming in, Oompaville said he was going to be posting it, I believe, today. And so we're just kind of waiting around looking for that to come out. Let me refresh. Make sure you guys are refreshing Oompaville. I don't understand why they call Dogpack a clout chaser while you just put 2 videos not monetized and 1 deleted. Yeah, I don't really hear the clout chasing thing much, personally. But to glaze Jimmy definitely isn't productive. To glaze either side is not productive. I know that, like, I mean, I like Dogpack. I don't like, you know, poor research and whatnot. I think, again, there's a lot of nuance to it. What's up, Isepami? Welcome to the chat, Cam Nuggets. Cam, are you doing anything right now? Do you kind of want to just spitball, shoot the shit about this, answer questions? Even if Dogpack did this for revenge, that doesn't disprove that there are fucked up things. Right. I think, honestly, let me show you guys something. I think Soggy said it best, and I really liked this point from him. Let me pull it up. Okay. So it's at the end of this very large thread. If you saw my video, you know what I'm talking about. Just came and watching this Quinthio guy. So let me pull this over. Okay, so we go here. It's at the very end of his thread, which I hate because if there's one good thing that came out of Dogpack's videos, it's that it removed Jimmy's golden boy Scout shield that had been protecting him from criticism for years. A shield that no one should have in the first place. That's what I agree with 1,000, 2,000%. Out of everything, regardless, Dogpack was able to get people talking, was able to get people to expose some stuff like the Amazon Games stuff, like the crypto, like the stuff that is still sticking. and it's allowed people to actually look into it. And instead of just what you guys I know for sure saw before and were probably a part of, which included me, was just like, oh, we helped a bunch of blind people see. That's good. Like, you can give them shit for like these small things, but you know, it's whatever. I didn't really care too much. And I think a lot of people didn't, because they're like, well, he's doing good things. Even Moist Critical was kind of on that side. And I think that this truly started the, okay, well, no company is your friend. And at one point, it stopped just being Jimmy and a couple of friends making fun videos and trying to make the best videos. And it became an enterprise, and it became a corporation. And that shield of him being this small little guy just hanging out with friends is gone. I am not interviewing MrBeast. That dude shits on channels like mine for breakfast. Not a chance. No, we are waiting for Oompaville's interview with MrBeast to come out here. Do you know that Car, the hiring manager in Saga's video, right? No doesn't mean no. Yes, they said that in the interview. Also, what did you guys think about the fucking Lakoya? What she had to say about the Lakoya moving around thing? That didn't make sense to me at all. Let's take a refresh. Still not out, okay. It's a sheer power dynamic. Oompa is a candy company and a gaming company. It's very easy for MrBeast to make both those incredibly successful or easier. Sure, but like, where I feel like that could just fuck over Oompa. There's too much shit around it. And I can't believe for a fucking second that Oompa would be like, oh yeah, I'll interview you, Jimmy, and I'll make it look really good for you, so that you can make my companies do good. They're already successful companies. Oompa does not strike me as someone who is like fucking money hungry. He has done it. He just likes doing multiple projects. That doesn't chalk for me, right? That's a new thing I'm doing, chalk for me, yeah. Lakoya was super sketch. They're definitely covering up something. I just don't like how they handled it. I think it was really fucked up. I didn't hear much, just heard it happened. That also didn't seem to line up. I'm a bit confused about that. She kind of confirmed what Dogpack said about him being transferred around due to complaints. Yeah, and they're like, we're not trying to hide him, but like, if you're leaving the fate of your COO up to the assistant that had an altercation with him, don't you think you should just fire him? Don't you think you shouldn't put that in the hands of your assistant to fire them? Because they made it sound like, even in the interview, that if the assistant wanted the guy fired, they would have. Because why else would you give him the choice? Why wouldn't you just fire the assistant if it ended up not being in the assistant's favor? If they ended up finding out that nothing had happened, why would you keep him around? Or just like move him somewhere because that's what the assistant wanted? Why does that assistant have any fucking decision making when it comes to your higher ups? Like that doesn't sit well with me. I could just be wrong. I don't know, like corporate, you know, whatever. We still don't know. Like they didn't go into great detail about it. Trey Yates said something about Lakoya Hill that's incriminating. What do you say? I remember Oomp saying if Jimmy paid him, he'd shut up, but he was just joking. Yeah, he was joking. If MrBeast paid me fucking $3 million, done. Here's the thing though, I was literally asked this last night. If I was able to get it on recording that Jimmy offered me that kind of money, I'd be posting the video. Like if I could get away with catching him with that incriminating shit, absolutely. Like I'm sorry, like that is, and that's the shitty part, because even I'd be like, yeah, like I'd take a superfluous amount of money over that, because like that's it. Did BM DM you? Who's BM? I don't know who BM is. There we go. Hold on here. Beautiful. I just hope that MrBeast doesn't say that he doesn't want this interview out as well. Yeah, that would really suck, because I feel like I'd be fucking you guys over. Has Caleb said anything about when the video is coming out? I thought it was supposed to drop yesterday. Yes, so he said it was supposed to drop yesterday. I know, I feel like MrBeast related stuff has a history of dropping on Fridays now, after the update to the investigation came out on a Friday, I believe. It did, because I had a stream with Nicholas Dorio. Not firing Delaware and choosing to cover him up later was a major fumble on Jimmy's part, regardless of if he knew. MrBeast interview, when? Supposed to come out tonight. Like, I put waiting in here, trying not to like convince, I'm not trying to mislead you guys into thinking that I have it or that it's out yet. That's why waiting is in the title. I don't want to like, I'm not trying to clickbait you guys. I'm really expecting it to come out tonight. I was expecting it to drop at like 5:30, 6 p.m. and now it's, what time is it now? 7 o'clock. Someone was saying it might be 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, Josh. I did not mean to get you on that. Yeah, about Delaware, Quinn, you should grow out your hair again. I'm trying, brother. I hope that Oompa says in the video that he hasn't been promised anything, hasn't been offered anything, and is doing this with zero intent to have further business interactions with MrBeast. That would be good. I kind of just expect that with Oompa. He does not come off as someone that would kind of do that. You know, I said like 3 million and I'd shut up if MrBeast offered me that. Oompaville has so much money. Like, he has, from what I understand, multiple successful businesses. He's coming out with a game. He has a very nice home. I don't think I would be hard pressed to believe that he would falter for any amount of money at this point. Like, if we're just, you know, also being logical about that. I personally don't trust Oompaville. He literally was trying to defend their chat by saying, well, they intended to send an underage picture, but she was actually over 18, so it's okay. Sorry, long text. You're totally good, Christian. Here's the thing. Oompaville can make his own assumptions based off their interview, what he thinks about him. If he doesn't give him hard questions, do you think that that's gonna, like, I think they recognize that that's not gonna satisfy the people that are upset. Like, it's not gonna be an answer, right? So, like, in my head, if this goes like really well for Jimmy and they don't give him any hard pressing questions and it's just like to make him look good, that's not gonna satisfy people. Maybe I don't know enough PR, but nothing about that tells me that people are gonna be okay with that. Like, if he ends up fucking this up, and like Jimmy just does not give any answers about anything that's like real and stuff that he has not addressed, people are just gonna be asking for it more. It's not gonna do any damage control, right? And again, like I say that, but also like, let's go into it and be open-minded. Like, just listen to it, get its full breadth in, and like, you know, take a moment to digest it before we start hopping on hating him for whatever answer or anything like that. Which platform is the interview on? It looks like it's gonna be on YouTube. I'm currently, like, my other monitor is just refreshing the page a shit ton. That's all I've been doing. I'm assuming you guys are checking too. I'm watching his Twitter as well, just to see if he's updated it with a post of anything. I haven't seen him make any new replies or anything, so. And I doubt MrBeast would first post about it because Jimmy doesn't want to respond for a reason tactic. Right, but he is now, hopefully, you know. Do you know the time? No, nobody has the time yet. Have I missed much? You have not missed much. We are just kind of riffing and ranting. Let me actually pull this up for you guys so you can see you guys. There we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. What was that? Oh, there was Boy Tiger, okay. I pray that he asked about the, here, I'll move that down. Wanted to say Quinn, oh, hold on one sec. I pray that he asked about Weddle. I want to hear what Jimmy's mouth that he regrets what he did to Weddle, but that's me personally, totally fair. Kenny dropped? You might have already commented on it, but what did you think about the CoffeeZilla vid? Thank you so much for the 5, I'm so sorry, I don't know what that is, but thank you very much. What did you think about the CoffeeZilla vid about Jimmy and crypto stuff? If I missed a video, I kind of just rehashed and like covered what he had covered in his video. I'm very happy with it. Very happy. I think he did a really good job of separating, hey, I couldn't prove this stuff that was brought up by people. This is what I found in my investigations. And I would really appreciate it if he fucking talked about it. Wanted to say, Quinn, I did find you because of this drama, but I've stayed along for the ride because I appreciate your critical thinking skills and ability to stay third party and non-biased. I appreciate that. I want to thank you very much, JMC, but I want to make a distinction. I have a bias. I don't like Jimmy. I'm very much like, they have the best PR team in the world working with them. That is my bias, but I don't want my thoughts. Everyone has a bias. Like, it's such a fucking buzzword recently. I've been saying it a lot too. Everyone has one. I have one. It is a legitimate thing that I have, but I want to make sure that I stay focused on allowing you guys to make the decisions. Thank you so much for the £5. Oompaville is interviewing him. How do you know he's doing an interview? He did tweet about it, yes. When is it live, Poncho? I do not have the answer for you. It's supposed to come out yesterday. It's a Friday evening. It makes the most sense that it would come out tonight. So we are currently just waiting for that. I'm like spamming refresh, waiting for it. What were you here? You look nervous with moving that much. Are you okay? Just a genuine question checking on you. I'm new and this is the first time I saw you live. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I am nervous. I think nervous is the wrong word. I'm excited. I really want to see this. I want to see what he has to say. Also, like, getting to talk to people is genuinely my favorite thing in the whole world. I love people, and even just getting to hear your guys' thoughts and stuff. I know that sounds cringy as fuck, but I like engaging in discussion like this. Good points. I'll do my best to be open-minded. What did you... Okay, yes. What did you think about the CoffeeZilla not being allowed to interview, though? I expected him to be one of the topics to interview. Here's the issue. Coffee is really fucking good at this. Coffee is really fucking good. And also, like, let's think about it optics-wise, right? Let's be, like, realistic. The CoffeeZilla is mainly focused on exposing people for those crypto things, that kind of stuff. So number one, Coffee would only be in his depth insofar as talking about the crypto information and talking about scamming financially, etc. That doesn't cover the other stuff. So number one, he's out of his depth when it comes to covering the other stuff, and he's very honest about that. But number two, his channel is devoted almost exclusively to exposing people, to exposing those scams. So optics-wise, why would Jimmy want to go onto the platform when the connotation in people's heads that already watch CoffeeZilla consistently, which is a lot of people, are that this is an exposed video. And so some people aren't even gonna watch it and they're just gonna assume, you know? At least that's kind of my thought. I feel bad for Weddle. He kind of made himself look like an annoying complainer, but I do think he's genuinely must have suffered at least a little bit. Agreed. There we go here. I really hope the internet doesn't go back to Jimmy's side. It makes me worried because I was genuinely happy to see YouTube turn on big corporation. Felt like a power to the people. At the end of the day, yeah, it's a company fighting for its life right now. I don't think that you should be picking a side. I think you should just make an assessment that, like, I'm not going to watch that content. My kids aren't going to watch that content. If this is how they're going to treat people, if they don't have, SAG, if they don't have a union because it's, new media, I'm not going to respect that. I don't think we get anywhere useful by turning this into a them versus us, because then we lose out on being self-reflective, being critical of ourselves, because this is the reason that Soggy's video did so well, is because we did that. I did that. It was a them versus us mentality. And then you forget to turn around on your own group and go, wait, we're kind of fucking up. Which Dogpack did repeatedly, and it didn't come out. And now we had this huge video by Soggy, which makes that side of the argument look worse because we've turned it into a them versus us. I think that's fair. I think that wasn't just jargon. I really hope yeah, there it is. Sorry. I'm like slowly going through because I want to answer, because a lot of you are asking really great questions. There we go. Saying, will you oil up? Dude, I've been having the will you oil up stuff a ton. No, Jack, I'm talking about Oompaville's tweets. I don't know how stupid or naive a person must be to think that MrBeast will allow to interview his current employees without pushing his agenda. I think that definitely exists. I for sure think that's a part of it. That's absolutely true. Thanks for the input. Thank you, Christian. When is the interview? We don't know. It's supposed to come out yesterday. Trying to see if it is coming out tonight. It looks like it should. If it doesn't, that's fucked. Or maybe they're just delaying. I'm not sure. He hasn't made any. Let me check his community post, actually. Okay, no, he hasn't made a community post. There it is. Sorry, I'm going slow. The delay is not bad. I just delayed. I've said this before to myself and friends. If all or most of the serious allegations are true, we might be witnessing the largest corruption scandal in YouTube history, for example, Beast Games. Yeah, absolutely. It is the largest. It is the largest channel on YouTube. Yeah. When is it? Tonight? It was supposed to be yesterday. So I like high hopes that it's tonight. Weddle made himself out to be a big baby complainer. He definitely suffered somewhat, but a lot of whining. I mean, I think that's part of him, his experience, who he is as a person, but I do legitimately believe that there is a lot more to that than just you can walk out at any moment. From my experience working in entertainment business, I get it. And also, like, really good arguments have been brought up in regard to that. Just, to walk away from a life-changing amount of money to take care of your family for the rest of your lives, what would you be willing to do? What do you think the court would stop you from doing? Like, what do you think legally, morally, what would people stop you from doing? I don't particularly care for Weddle as a person, but I hate people minimizing the effect dangling life-changing money over someone can have. Yes! I didn't even read your chat, but yes. Did the interview happen yet? Not yet. I don't think he tweeted. There we go. Oompaville did tweet about it. I'm not making that up. Oh, he did update his description? Let's go. Were you guys aware? Was everyone aware? Yeah, Sagi had his expenses paid for the trip. I just got, what the fuck? I got ad jump scared. I'm so sorry. I'm scared that it might have been delayed because of the backlash that Oompa was getting for announcing that he was doing the interview. I mean, he got a little bit. I don't think that, I mean, they already recorded it. Kind of be a big fuck up if they didn't release it then. It would also make Jimmy look even worse. Weddle is just an animated emotional person and bullying him about that is shitty. Agreed. Like you can, I'm saying like you can find him annoying, you can do those things, that doesn't take away from the experience. Wow, people can't handle a man crying, leave Weddle alone, guys. He experienced a very traumatic event. Yes, but like just because you experience trauma doesn't mean that people have to like you. Like people can separate those things. I'm not trying to give Weddle shit. I'm just saying, you know, those are two separate things. Editing takes time. It does. He was saying it should be up yesterday. So now tomorrow I'm hoping even better. Maybe Jimmy's team is reviewing the video. I wouldn't doubt it, but I mean, let's say it's like an hour and a half. It'd only take that much. I watched some of Weddle's videos after the video came out. He seemed like a talented guy that just needed to find his footing, but he really messed up his image by taking the money Jimmy offered. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think so, because I don't think it changed his perspective or his opinion. I mean, he showed up on Rosanna after that. Like, I really don't think it ended up doing that much. Yeah, fingers crossed it comes out tonight. And yes, I do think he's talented. I would really love to see him blow up with the stand-up comedy. I'm not saying you have to like him, just try not to put him down for crying or showing emotion. Sure, that's fair. I think people are inevitably gonna do it though. You know, will the interview be on his channel or Oompaville's? Oompaville's for sure. It wouldn't make sense for MrBeast to post it on his channel. That makes, I don't believe he would for a second. What did Sam Jam say? Did I miss that? When interview? Yeah, we don't know yet. Oh yeah, join the Discord if you guys are new. If you want to talk about shit, want to play video games. Mainly I do gaming streams, but I'm trying to get back into doing more commentary, covering like weird ass people, that kind of shit. Because the MrBeast stuff is going away, and I want to start pumping out more content around commentary or whack ass YouTubers, things like that. I think people let their thoughts about Jake obscure the actual problem. For sure, absolutely. That comes down to how you present information is sometimes more important than the information itself. Maybe Jimmy didn't think it sounded good for him and is trying to stop it. I feel like he would have known that immediately, you know? I feel like they wouldn't have, I don't know. That sounds a bit, I don't want to say silly, but I just, I don't know. I don't think that doesn't make too much sense to me. He would know if it sounded good or not immediately after. He'd have one of them PR team members on the line letting him know. Thoughts on Lurik stealing Turkey Tom's girlfriend and Tom staying with her? Is that even true? I don't even think that's true. People really underestimate the power of peer pressure. Hollywood has essentially cornered rising stars using social status and pressure for decades. I wouldn't call that peer pressure though, but I would definitely call that, you know, like pressure in any other way. I don't agree that taking money ruined Weddle's reputation. I think he comes off as a complainer, etc., as I mentioned, but I do agree the money on the line in the jail thing would be life-changing. Right, absolutely. Are you saying type shart? The Portal 2 video should have done numbers. That was hilarious, man. Dude, I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Fun fact, I have a gaming channel now. I'm not going to show you guys what it is yet, but I'm going to be posting that video on there, and it's going to have shorts, and there's a second video that's already ready and done, and a third gaming video is being edited. If you guys think I am in some way fucking funny, watch the gaming one on my channel. Let me know what you think, but that is going to be my second endeavor. I think it's going to be really good. It was a blast. We just recorded, do any of you know what Bokura is? It's funny as fuck. That game is incredible. Recorded it, you'll see that. It was really good. Thank you, Clicks. There's a good dialogue with chat. We're just waiting for to drop. Yes. MrBeast make a podcast with Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes, I think it's on Cristiano's channel. It had like 20 mil views in like 24 hours. It was nuts. How much do you want to bet that Jimmy will pull things out of his ass even after swearing on God? I don't have enough money. I'd say like $1. But Logan, he's a gold mine because he always does stupid things. Logan will definitely show up on the channel. There's gonna be a lot. Quink, that true? What did Quink say? Oh yeah, I don't think that's true. Later, Skibbity. Oh hell yeah. Booyah, booyah. Get out of here, please. Is Skibbity talking more about oiling up? He's been here for so long. It's all on YouTube. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that. Funny looking, huh? I got a sub to that. Yes. Let me see. Given that there were consequences of the investigation regarding the overall structure of Beast, that alone speaks to the severity of the allegations. Yes. I guess I'll link it to you guys. It has nothing on it right now though. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. I need to make another. Okay, cool. He hasn't posted yet. I'm refreshing before I go and do this. I'm like waited with bated breath. Let me go. Let's go here. I think I called it. That's so funny. Let's go by channel. Dude, it doesn't even show up. That's funny. One sec here. Dash D4E. Is it gonna pull up now? Bro, what? Why does it do that? Bruh. Okay, hold on. And I want to see your guys' questions. Just one sec. Wait, can I change this? Oh, let's fucking go. Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, I figured it out. Let's go. Okay, here it is. Here it is. You guys want to hop over there, but the videos will be posted. It won't be that pink queue. Okay, let's go back to checking this. Let me. Oh fuck, the thumbnails changed. I thought it was out. Okay, no, it's not yet. Okay, what were you guys saying? I'm sorry. I don't dislike Sagi simply because I don't know him, but I highly dislike his video because it's making noise and is another tool for Jimmy to use for not talking why, even if it wasn't intentional. I mean, he's doing the interview. He's doing the interview after the Sagi video came out. I think like if anything, this is the time. Wait, Quinn, do you know when the interview is going live? I do not. He just said he'd post it today, or he said he was gonna post it yesterday. It's a Friday night. It makes the most sense. So we're just waiting here. Have a discussion about the stuff that's come out. Sorry to edgy Smaggle. I don't dislike Sagi simply because I don't know him, but I highly dislike his video because it's making noise. I mean, I don't think you should hate on it for making noise. You can dislike it for the mistakes he makes and whatnot, but I think he makes good points. Like, okay, legitimately, if he makes good points, if he does a good job of covering important stuff and debunking important stuff from Dogpack, that needs to be done. And I mean, yes, if Jimmy uses it, that sucks, but that's just kind of the reality of it. If you fuck up, like there are consequences. Yes, Shelf is a mod now. I did that out of spite because Vader was here and asked for mod. I do think a lot of the bad stuff happened when Jimmy was younger, but he should have cleaned house as they grew, which he seems to have failed at. I think Jimmy lacks empathy severely. Yeah, I mean, allowed to feel those things. he's an interesting character. It feels like socially, I don't know, he has some issues here and there. I do not know when it's going live. That's why I said waiting. Been here since before the Jimmy drama. Knew you were gonna make it big. Thank you, Clicks. Quinn doesn't. Yeah, like I'm not a stan for Sogpack. That's really funny that you said Sogpack. An important thing here is we want to know what is actually going on. That is the most important thing. Yes. Yes. What do you think the chances are of MrBeast being able to hit a triple reset double touch off the back wall? Dude, if he spun on it, if Jimmy hits us with a, yeah, I don't know if I can answer all that. You want to check this double flip reset and do a musty in the top right corner? That might absolve him of all sin. Sagi's video. Oh shit, what's up? What's up, RJ? Thoughts on Sagi's video? Personally, even though he made a lot of good points, he just sounds so biased, even though he made some good points and he claims to be unbiased. I don't think, and I need to stop doing it, everyone has a bias. He clearly has a bias. And he also went off the evidence that he collected that nobody else had collected yet. So I think he made really good points, but I like more Pegasus's video. He also made a good point that there was a lot of stuff that the Jimmy and that company gave to him, information that Dogpack never would have been able to obtain. So like, it almost proves the point that like, yes, Dogpack didn't do research, but he also did not have information that Sagi brought up, which is kind of like frustrating because it's like, okay, well, not frustrating, but it's like, well, you can't really give him shit if there was no way for him to obtain that information. That's why I was like confused about it. But he does make good points. Like he does counter a few good things. He also doesn't address stuff that he can't address. Like that's another issue. It's like anyone who is talking about or like countering Dogpack or giving him shit or being critical of him, of course they're not going to attack the points that do stand on their own, like the Amazon Prime games, like the crypto stuff, because we don't have info on that. Like it doesn't make sense that they would cover it. And so when they avoid it, it's like everyone's like, oh, they're choosing to avoid that. The lack of them covering it for me is evidence that there wasn't something to cover, which adds a bit more legitimacy. Like if they were doing this hard-hitting journalistic investigation of Dogpack, if they don't cover those things, maybe that is just making it look like there wasn't anything to counter there, which adds more validity to it. Could also be that the video is an hour and a half. But I think he would have covered those big things if he found them, because that would have been very juicy. Beast is garbage. Very, very nuanced. You think he worked with some of his team? He did. He interviewed 4 of them. Let's see here. Oompa tweeted. Beast video coming in a minute. Oh shit, here we go. Beast video coming in a minute, boys. Okay, let's go. We're about to hit it. Let's go, boys. It's coming. It's coming soon. Woo! I called it. Let's go. Also, the chef seemed to know who Sagi was and was interviewing people. No, he knew who called him. Let's fucking go. Let's go. As I said before, I'd like to know the time of what happened to Doggy's video, like if he requested to talk to MrBeast employees and if, oh, Sagi. Fucking up Sagi and Doggy is really funny. Let's fucking go. Come on. Coming in a minute. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm gonna record this too. That is such a funny ass picture that he posted too. Minute like now or minute like another day? What the fuck? Look at these comments. Dude, Smaggle is everywhere. Watching the Oompaville with you while I work? Fuck yeah. I think I'm more annoyed on the delivery because the problem with him attacking the allegations of Dogpack and the way he did, I'm not a fan of his persona on the video. I'm with you on that. I also don't think, I also think he really fucked up, unfortunately, by including Cam Nugget's allegations, because he clearly didn't research those and it was a bit hypocritical. Has it been posted yet? No, we just got a new update though that it is coming out in a minute here. If we go take a look, I just want to read some of the comments. There's Smaggle showing up. Nobody cares, bro. Did he steal your soul? It's not looking Finally, dude, I've been waiting. Edging us. Nice, based. Going to be extremely disappointed if you didn't propose to MrBeast in the interview. Based. Okay. Do you think it's rendering right now? That'd be funny as fuck. Do you think 404 is reliable? Not reliable, no. Like, clearly. Like, we've had quite a few fuck ups there. Reliability kind of requires consistency and accuracy, I think. They gotta hit a triple-double! Let's go! Think something you could commentate on after this drama is a false copyright claim situation on YouTube. I've personally seen and experienced some sketchy claims. Oh yeah, I mean, that tale is old as time, right? 30 seconds if it's a minute. Oh, damn. Dude, I'm actually, bit of that nauseous anxiety. Come on, man. Let's fucking see it. Steak is here. Also, welcome, Steak. Yeah. That's a sick name. Been a minute, no vid. Yeah, it's been 3. Hold on one sec here. I think we're gonna watch it one time through. I'm not gonna like notify or anything, but like I'm not gonna mention anything. And then after we watch it once, we're gonna go through it and pick it apart and talk through it. Okay. I think that makes the most sense. Perfect. Thanks for the follow, JMC Gaming. Why the fuck did Elon Musk post "Good morning, friends"? Is he high? What is that? Okay, coming in a min. Still not posted. I'll be watching the interview on my own, but I plan to come back after this to the discussion after, just because I don't want the stream cutting on my drive home. I can't download the interview. Totally fair. Or I can download. Funny, it feels like Jimmy said to Oompa, delete this video. Elon Musk truly on that galaxy gas. Let's go. How's everyone doing? What's up, Suki? Stick looks like you, Quinn. Take that back. Take that back, you piece of shit. Someone clipped that he said Elon Musk. Elon Musk, M-O-S-Q-U-E. I remember watching MrBeast when he had like 10 mil back then. It was actually all right because it wasn't so fake and theatrical. Right. When's the interview coming out? What's up? I can't say your name. I'm sorry. I'm gonna fuck it up. When's the interview coming out? In a minute, he said 5 minutes ago. Oh, come on. Messi about to join 404. Elon Musk, the hoarder. Elon's a creep. The rendering, true. Oopaville is a professional goofball, but a professional nonetheless. Very true. Elon Musk, yeah. What is this interview about? I'm not caught up at all. Holy fuck, Evan. Evan, where have you been, brother? In a minute or an hour? He said in a minute, probably in an hour. I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting very hyped though. Let's see here. I'm just still spamming refresh. As soon as you guys see it, let me know. There we go. Did he reply to you? Okay. There we go, there we go. If one is what he has not lost, is it live interview or a recorded one? It is a recorded one. So if you guys want to, you can dip out, and then if you want to have a discussion about it after, totally fine. Let me see here. Let's fucking go. Come on, brother. Like literally, I mean, you guys can see, I'm literally just sitting here spamming refresh. Oompaville and MrBeast interview dropping soon. Stay tuned. Yes, Elon Musk. Is it up yet? Not yet. I'm not seeing it, but we're going off of him saying BeastVid coming in a minute, and this old ass. Let's see here. Is anyone else prepped? Do you see any other content creator? I don't see anyone else streaming at the moment. Wonder how much Beast paid Oompa to cut half the interview out? Doc, what is that? Come on, brother. Evan seems like one of those people who are making TikToks 21 about how they had their phones taken away from a year and asked if they missed anything. There could be a chance it's not on YouTube or it could be on Twitch. That makes no sense for Oompa. Oompa doesn't stream on Twitch, does he? If he does, I'm a dumbass, but... I got Oompa's notification. I'll know as soon as it drops. I turned on his notifications today. Yeah. Does Oompa feel cool with you streaming this? You're taking views away from him? Oh no, the 200 compared to his 500K each time? I think he might be aight. This isn't like Asmongold having 10,000 people watch Cam Nugget's video. Would you play horror games on your game channel? Have you tried Fitness by DJR? I would try horror games. I have not tried that game. Yeah, send recommendations and whatnot. Once I post a video, just throw them in the comments. Pegasus told him to go to Oompa if you believe him. I have no reason to believe that Pegasus would lie about that. He does not come off as like an ego-hungry person. At least in my assessment. He plays a mean pummel party though. We're gonna upload after Asmongold gets a shower. Should happen soon then. Brother. What do we get? Thanks, anti-party. Oh, there. That's the disclosure talking about. I wanted to have actual raw. Oh, what is this? Okay, let's read this quick. I wanted to do either online interviews and save myself money and days of traveling, but didn't like the idea of them possibly having other employees off camera or the possibility of employees to have a script in front of them with possible... I want to have actual raw interviews with them where I could feel in control. Since I live in EU, transatlantic flights are expensive. Interviews. I was instead thinking of just doing online. Dustin offered to pay for the flight. Asked if it's an okay thing for me to do, and they said don't think too much of it. It's not like you get anything from Dustin for paying your flight. Yada yada. Okay. Sure. Let's go back to Oompa. In a minute, 10 minutes ago. This motherfucker. Come on, Oompa! Guys, check out his candy company. It's sick. Gotta get that plug in for him. Cam Nugget Asmongold is a content thief. True. I agree with Vikram. Soggy Cereal getting his flights paid doesn't matter. Agreed. I think if anything, they took that as like, this is an expense worth getting in this video. Like, I don't think Soggy had anything to do with like covering anything up because he got his flight paid for. Is this a live streamed interview? No, I believe it's just going to be a released video on his channel. He's never done a live. You can't even see a live tab on his shit. Yeah, join the Discord if you guys are interested. Hop in. Do you still like Dogpack? Yes. I don't. That's so long from now. What do you mean? Yeah, I still like him. I don't. Again, that's a separate thing from his ability to like, you know, consistently cover. It's out. Where is it? Where the fuck is it? Whoa. What do you mean it's out? Where did it post? Where did it post? Someone link me. Send me a link. Anyone on Discord, send me a link. Did you guys just fake it? Oh, fuck. Here we go. All right.
Getting 8 ads every 20 minutes is actually diabolical. Meet Pi, the ad blocker that actually works on
Okay, hold on. We're
Twitch,
cutting out
aka
ads here.
every
One
user
sec.
stream. I can watch my favorite streamers without being bombarded with ads.
All right, shut up, everyone.
Are you going to sue Dogpack? Are you going to sue Dogpack?
Well, MrBeast is currently on a private jet on his way to where I live in Central Texas to have a conversation with me with the intention of addressing the controversy that he has been involved in over the last few months. And I think that it is important for me to document my intentions before embarking on this risky and difficult task. I am not Scott Pelley. I am not a hard-hitting genius investigative journalist. I'm a YouTuber with a medium-sized platform. I am currently doing journalism, to be fair, but I am goofy, all right? Also, back in August, I platformed Dogpack, and out of fairness, I feel that it is important to do the same for MrBeast. MrBeast has agreed to keep an open line of communication. He'll only be here for a little bit, which is crazy because he's flying halfway across the country. And he and his team have agreed to provide us with evidence and information to give proof to claims so we can actually be as transparent here as possible. The goal of this video is not for it to please everyone or gotcha somebody. It is for this video to be a meaningful source of information. So to future me and you currently viewing, I'm sure I missed some questions, but I absolutely did my best and I stand behind the result, maybe. And I look forward to seeing the comments and criticism.
Firstly, would you be willing to put your hand on this Bible and swear?
Oh my gosh, you actually have a Bible?
I have 2 Bibles.
Are you being serious?
I am being serious.
Okay.
I'm swear. We're both from the South. This will be an honest video.
Oh, your laptop's blocking it.
Oh, whoops. This will be an honest video.
It needs it to be on the camera.
I'm a man from North Carolina. I'm from Virginia.
The Bible Belt.
The Bible Belt.
Yep.
Exactly.
I know what this means.
This means it's legit.
Yes. Okay.
There we go.
I was not expecting that. Okay.
This is like legal now.
It is. I can go to jail.
The first biggest question for me and a lot of people that I've spoken to over the last couple months is like, why were you so silent? Especially off the bat, like you did respond to the Ava Tyson stuff immediately, but like, you know, right after that,
do you guys want
bunch of
captions?
other stuff came out and Dawson's video, his first video, gained a bunch of traction. What was your reasoning for being so silent immediately?
No, it's a great question to kick it off on. You actually kind of laid out the timeline there. The Ava stuff came out, and I put out that tweet. We hired the investigators to go look into it.
Okay.
And
I can't even caption. Captions aren't available yet.
Recommended that I not talk about drama or really do anything online because it might influence, witnesses or any people they might interview or ex-employees. So it's a little unfortunate because I told them, okay, I'll wait till the investigation is over. And I believe that was literally like a week before the dog pack video came out. And then truthfully, just in transparency, I've never done one of these like big investigations before. And in my head, it was going to last like 2 or 3 weeks. It ended up taking a couple months, apparently combing through all the documents and doing all the interviews and everything. It just took way longer than I thought because I've never had to bring in a top tier law firm and a former federal prosecutor and let him, do this really big thing. And so that kind of concluded a couple weeks ago when I put out the tweet of the follow-up.
Yeah.
Like that was the day I got the conclusion of it. And I was like, okay, in transparency, I'll throw this out. So up until that point, it was, I had told Quinn Emanuel that, to protect the integrity, I wouldn't do anything or engage in any of this drama. And then after that, yeah, like you said, a lot of stuff had come out between when the investigation started and when it ended. And I was just kind of like, whoa, I don't really know how to like hit this stuff. And I made like a little response video, but it's just kind of not my style, where I just kind of like put a lot of the information that I assume we're going to talk about here out.
Bro's got to be relaxed.
It just felt weird. Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I've never been in a situation where people have thrown this much stuff at me, and I definitely could have handled it better. Like I probably should have, like the second I could have talked, like, I don't remember the exact date, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we put that report out, probably should have done something like this right then. If I could go back in time, I would. And yeah, that's kind of like the brain dump, and then here I am.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, you answered it towards the end, but like, do you regret that? Obviously.
Yeah. If I could go back in time, I would do what we're doing here because I assume this is like the correct format. It's gonna be a little bit more free flowing and natural, and I wouldn't have wasted so much time like trying to do a response. It's just not my thing. I like so much better. Or I'm assuming. I mean, we just started, but I think I'm gonna like so much better being asked the questions and answer it instead of just like sitting in a chair like this, answering it. It just feels a little more natural.
Got you. Yeah, I mean that definitely, that does line up obviously with what's happened, and it makes sense. And I definitely, I feel like, before talking to you, I definitely would imagine that you would regret have not making a response early.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Like that, because that you could have just immediately, if there is information to debunk Dogpack's his first video off the bat.
Yeah, which obviously had so much disinformation in it. If anyone saw Soggy's video or any of the newer videos now coming out, like you would
we'll
see
get to
so
that
much.
too, yeah,
so much of it. So it's it's unfortunate that it happened on the back end of when I was said I would not talk about or address drama and things. And I mean, there's obviously should have done this sooner. Whoops, but hey, better late than never.
Yeah. Did you think it would get this big?
No, I mean, truthfully, I thought, like, if you watch Soggy's video or any of these other videos that are coming out now showing all the discrepancies, I honestly thought a lot of people would find, like, the information proving the dishonesty earlier.
The Google?
Because a lot of this could have been, just figure out Google. A lot of this could, and now, I also have to be clear, like, I'm not perfect, and I'm not saying I've never done anything wrong, and you can't criticize me. Like, there are things I deserve criticism for, and I'm sure we'll get to some of those things in here. But there are a lot of things that are just not true, and on those things, like, I mean, we'll just get to it throughout this because I'm sure you're gonna ask me the questions. But there's just a lot of disinformation that was easily proved wrong. Like the big one that, I mean, videos with tens of millions of views collectively, claiming I called a guy Delaware because he committed a crime in Delaware. Like, that is not true. His name was just Delaware. I didn't, call him Delaware to make fun of him or anything. And I mean, I'm sure you're gonna ask about it later, but like, there's literally, he was in a video before I hired him working at Best Buy wearing a name tag that said Delaware. And like, that was public information. And like, anyone could have saw that. And like, even during when that was like getting shared a lot a couple months ago, I even sent that to a couple of YouTubers. I was like, hey, just so you know, like, I didn't call him Delaware because of this messed up thing. Like, that was just his name, and here's proof. And I guess I probably shouldn't say the name of the creators, but like, one of them literally just said to me, like, well, it's not really cool to like you or defend you right now, so I don't really care whether or not it's true, or I don't want to take the video
That's
down.
crazy.
People are gonna think I'm controlled opposition. I was like, whoa. And then also, like, that same photo, are you gonna like throw some things on the screen for them?
Definitely.
Yeah, so throw it on the screen. That same photo, right after that second dog pack video, started to get traction on Reddit, and saying like, hey, this is a lie. Jimmy didn't call him Delaware to make fun of him, committing a crime in Delaware. That's just his name. And it got taken down by the mods on r/YouTube drama. And that's when I realized, like, oh, anytime there's a post proving like that I'm not evil, they were taking it down. So it was a little unfortunate too, because I wasn't saying anything. And then on Reddit, anytime something was proving that I wasn't evil, or
I want to hear about him
contrary
confirming
to what everyone was saying,
if he knew he
they
was an
were
RSO.
suppressing it or censoring it. Not
Right,
trying to sound extreme.
So you're saying it's like a echo chamber, which, I mean, Reddit r/YouTube drama is.
Yeah, I know, but it's unfortunate when there's a post with 10,000 upvotes claiming something false about you, and then everyone, then a couple people are like, wait, that's not true. Here's proof. And then they delete it every time. So then everyone's like, okay, well, then that must be true, because they're also deleting the comments on that post that prove it's not. And so then then it's just like, now, again, I'm not trying to sound extreme, but it's just like, oh, you're censoring information. And then that paired with other YouTubers, when I would call them and share it with them, they'd just be like, well, I don't want to be a MrBeast Glazer, so I don't really. They wouldn't say it this direct, but they would just essentially say, like, I don't really care if it's true or not. I'm just going to say what other people say, like, sorry.
Do you have evidence of, like, people, there being posts that existed and then didn't exist on Reddit that got...
of course. Yeah, I can send you
Yeah, if you'd send me anything
you
of,
could throw it up on
that.
screen. I mean, that's not, like, a conspiracy theory. That's
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
we can find quite a few.
I'm not that good at using Google. So
Yeah.
I'll need you to help with that. Yeah, so to circle back to the Quinn Emanuel investigation, the big thing on the internet, on Twitter specifically, was that you found yourself to be innocent. Of course, you paid a law firm to find yourself innocent.
I saw those memes, yeah.
There's the big meme. How would you respond to the allegation that the investigation was biased from the start?
Yeah. So, first off, to just set the foundation, I think a lot of people are saying, oh, of course, Jimmy did an internal investigation and found himself, they didn't find any wrongdoing, which is also not true, which I assume we'll go into that more later. They did find some wrongdoing, just not in regards to, like, the serious Ava allegation. So that's a, false truth. And then on top of that, it wasn't an internal investigation. It was an external investigation, which was clearly laid out in the things we showed.
Yeah, a third-party investigation.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it is a little bit of a, like, a lot of people I saw were saying, like, well, you paid them. And it's like, well, yeah, top tier lawyers and federal prosecutors don't work for free, so I have to pay them.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to debunk that one. I mean, it just is what it is. But yeah, we hired Quinn Emanuel, which is one of the top law firms in the world. Like, I mean, it was very expensive, but I intentionally picked them because they have a reputation, and they're not just going to destroy their entire business to be biased towards me. You know what I mean? And then it was led by a former federal prosecutor who did the whole thing. I mean, it was pretty intense. I mean, they did tons of interviews. I mean, transparent. They even, like, scanned my phone, dug through, like, they have messages I sent to my girlfriend, and I'm like, why is this even relevant? And they're like, I mean, if you want a thorough one and you want us to, like, be confident in what we're saying, we need to see everything. Like, they went pretty hardcore on it, which is why it ended up taking a couple of months. Because truthfully, when I started this process, I didn't realize, like, how intense it was. But I gave them the reins to everything, and yeah, it took longer than I thought. But I don't know. I mean, is there any, like, how else do I prove it besides? I mean, I think another thing that missing context people don't have is, like, if they found anything illegal, they're obligated to report it to the police. Like
Right.
this like that's how these things work when they do these investigations. It's not like they could be like, hey Jimmy, we found this illegal thing. We'll just sweep it under the rug.
But it's all right because you paid us.
Yeah, so it's just in every way. I just don't think people understand. Like it's, it was obviously Quinn Emanuel. That's why we paid them, and it was pretty thorough. And
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, those are two things that make sense, right? We just covered two back-to-back things that make sense. A, you waited a long time for the investigation, and B, you paid like a very reputable law firm, whatever, to investigate.
It's a buzzing sound.
Both of those things make sense logically from your perspective, but also optically from the outside looking in. For people who are just seeing the allegations, they're like, "Oh, this guy looks guilty."
Yeah.
You know, he's building this big sort of law team, and he's not responding, and he's like it. So it's kind of bizarre and unfortunate because like it does make sense, like from a logical
I mean,
perspective.
because there's two things I could do. I could do an internal investigation.
Yeah,
but that's dumb
great idea.
because I don't want to audit myself.
Let your mom do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let my mom do it, or I could do an external one. That's what we did. And again, it's like because I didn't have control over it. Obviously, if I did, I would have been like, bro, do this in 2 weeks so I can get this out there. Like I didn't want it to take months, but I mean that's part of an external investigation. You don't have control over it.
Now, would you consider? So you obviously regret the remaining silent.
mic
Would
change.
you consider that the third party investigation as a whole, in looking back, would that have been? Would you say that's a mistake?
No, I just think I would push back on like, do I really have to be silent? Like,
Okay.
can I just like do this thing? Like go clap back on some of these things, but like some of these things, people were apparently talking to ex-employees or whatever, and so it just gets muddy because I really didn't want the integrity of the investigation to like, be in question or anything. So I was like super paranoid where I was like, okay, this is what they said. I don't want to push back or anything, but yeah, obviously in hindsight, like. I mean, a lot of these things that were just blatantly lies. Like if I just clap back instantly, people were just like, okay, cool, and moved on.
Would you consider making some details of the investigation that have yet to be seen public? Obviously, there's like a level of confidentiality that is required legally.
Exactly, yeah.
But like, is there anything?
Well, that's the thing. Like, what we put out as much as we could, but I mean, obviously they did dozens of interviews, including alleged people who were victims, and I mean. Like I said, my message is my girlfriend. Like they gathered a lot, so I don't really think I can. I mean, there's a lot of sensitive data and information in there.
What about like a just to back up your claims to their
but things on like how like they did it independently and they weren't biased. Like that side. I mean, I don't really know what people would want to see, but yeah, I mean, we can figure it out.
Just from what I know about like retainer contracts with lawyers and working with third-party investigations, things like which I don't have any experience with anything that big, obviously.
Yeah.
But maintaining a level of compliance, like, I mean, if there's like a retainer contract, something showing that you shouldn't.
Now this is where I'm ignorant. Like I don't even know really what a retainer contract is. But
I mean, like
if there's any way I could, of course.
Like your third party saying, Jimmy, don't talk, like just basically giving credence to what you're saying even more.
Gotcha.
So more evidence of what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, that would be something I'd have to like go talk to the team on.
We got 2 hours.
that
He's
would
gonna
help.
That's
ask other
something where
questions.
people
Deep breath,
desperately
guys.
want transparency. I mean, we can figure something out.
Yeah, I that would
We'll
just
go over
help
the
me. I'm
doc,
not
too.
sure if people. Honestly, I don't know if people would give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I would
because if
appreciate
people
that.
are like, we think Quinn Emanuel's biased, like even no matter what I show them, if they think a top tier law
gonna have
firm
this
will
doc up
potentially tank their
while
rep
they're
for me, like,
talking.
I don't know if there's anything that's
Yeah,
ever
it's
to
foolish,
convince them.
right?
Yeah,
It is foolish, and it makes sense. But once again, it's like optically, there is a very easy, lowest common denominator way to look at stuff.
Yeah.
And
But also, what I would say to those people is I'm here, so it's not like I'm like maybe that argument would work if I just never did anything, but I'm here, so
in the lion's den.
yes, controlled opposition towards me. Hey, also, I'd love to say I don't know if he's posting this chronologically or whatnot, but I mean, he also did interview Dogpack multiple times, so it's
multiple times.
because I could have done this with anyone, but I think this one makes sense because you've literally had the other side on here. So
Yeah, and also to be clear as well, I have not signed like an NDA or.
fuck.
I mean,
What's up, 52?
there's genuinely nothing that's been signed. You haven't given me $1 million.
No. Hey, you should say I haven't given you a penny.
A penny.
'Cause
Okay,
you
yeah.
gave me 999.
Nothing. You've given me nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually just it's kind of interesting. It really is interesting. This is a bold move. I would consider. It's quite a bold move.
And it's even more bold because I'm never vulnerable on camera and like
Yeah,
this is-
it's from a lot of perspectives. It is quite bold, and it's not like I haven't been critical. I feel like I've been
That's for
fairly
sure.
critical. I feel, and it, like talking to you, I feel bad. You know, obviously because I'm a person. There's different levels to how much you care about shit.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it is. If there were a testament, it would be that would be a testament to this being being a meaningful source of information. This video, I feel like. I hope.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is definitely outside my comfort zone, but I think it's important.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's kind of past like the main initial allegations. We can move on to sort of corporate culture and HR practices. That's been a big sort of point that a lot of critics have hammered home.
Yep.
And
we're just getting right into the hard hitting stuff.
hell yeah. So there have been a lot of questions about your workplace culture, such as a lack of diversity or also HR problems.
Yeah.
What, if anything, have you done to address these concerns? How have you handled it since information came out, and how do you plan on handling it in the future?
Okay, so we'll start with the diversity one. If I forget the HR one, just bring it up when I finish that one. Diversity, I have seen a lot of people mention that about our company, which, I mean, that one's just not even true. Like, I mean, Feastables, for example, a couple months old, but like almost 70% of our company is women. We actually, because we do dub studios around the world, now zooming out of Feastables over to content, I mean, we actually have pretty crazy amount of diversity in our company. So because we have 400 people that work for me. It's not just me and the boys on the camera, which is the 5 you see. So that one, the few people have claimed that like they don't have any data to back it up. So I guess I probably should have brought some data here. I don't want to just say percentages off the top of my head.
If you have, I'm sure you've got some kind of
but
pull something from HR.
I really that one I just don't think is rooted in anything. And then what was the second part?
HR, yeah. How have you handled HR problems? What HR problems have popped up?
So that one, I mean, it's a little bit of a general question, but yeah, I mean, obviously, in general, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of things about, HR stuff in my company. And I think one thing people don't have is just the context. Like, I think they think my channel is just like 5 people or 10 people or 20, whatever. Like, they don't realize the size of it. Like, specifically, because our videos have gotten so big, I mean, I'm going to give a little range because depending on how many people we've hired in the last month, it's somewhere between like 250 or 300 people work at my production company. So this is a big company. There's a lot of people. And then on top of that, when we do like bigger videos where we need to build big sets or whatever, sometimes we bring in hundreds of contractors. So there's a lot of people that work here. And like, I just want to blanketly say, like, companies at this size, like, you can't ever guarantee that every interaction everyone's going to have is always going to be positive with each other. You know what I mean? That's just impossible. So I want to start off by just saying that because I don't want people to watch this and then like a year from now, like hear some rumor and be like, oh, Jimmy didn't learn. Like any company of this size, there's always going to be some problem someone has. Now, having said that, I'm not trying to use it as like a blanket of like, and shield myself. There are 2 things that are like someone in my position who runs a company like this is in control of. One is, making sure we're not fostering anything inappropriate and, allowing it. And then 2, when it inevitably happens, because it just will in a company my size. And I'm trying to be transparent here. Like it's, how do you respond to it? And then in the making sure you're not fostering it, part of Quinn Emanuel, when we had them do their investigation, is I had them look at every system in my company. I had them talk to my employees and see if there's anything they could bring to Quinn Emanuel's attention that they could make me aware of. And I think it was in the report, is like we established an anonymous hotline because Quinn Emanuel was showing me data that like sometimes people don't feel comfortable talking to HR or their boss. And like if you have an anonymous hotline that goes to someone outside the company that can hear a complaint and then beam it into you
Audio
without
CCG.
disclosing who it was, like you'll get more honest feedback, because there's so they showed us a lot of things like that. Also making sure we're not fostering it. Like I think it's also in there as well. We leveled up like our C-suite because I've had a lot of people that have grown with me, but like me, they've never ran a company that has hundreds of employees before. So I actually just hired a couple people who have worked on Fortune 500 companies who have actually ran companies of this size before. And so, they're showing me lots of things that bigger companies do that obviously I'm just ignorant on because I'm a YouTuber. You know what I mean? I spent my life staring at retention charts and CTR, not how to structure a business. So just that's phase 1, is making sure you're not fostering a culture that supports that stuff. And then inevitably, like I said, you can't ever guarantee when you're working with hundreds of people full time. And then when you add part-time people, potentially over 1,000 sometimes. You just got to make sure if there are issues that, actual real issues, like if someone complains because someone peed on a toilet seat, like I'm not, oh well. But if there's an actual serious issue, then, we'll bring in professionals who experience and, getting down to it, interview them, gather the information. I'll recuse myself. I don't want to be the arbiter of truth. And then, those experts who are experienced in handling those things, they'll tell me how to handle it. If they tell me to fire someone, I fire them. If they tell me to whatever, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the one who makes those decisions. So, and transparency, that's kind of,
So I think this is one where a lot of YouTubers, people who have covered this type of thing, don't really understand that HR is a real living and breathing organism in business, and if you don't maintain it, it can become a problem for a normal business. But when your business is someone like you whose reputation is on the line, I also have a bunch of businesses. I've got 60 employees, and we have an HR department. And something happens once a month where someone gets an anonymous report, and then we have to solve that problem, and then we actually
you're evil.
Yeah, and that's that's how it feels sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm not involved, obviously, in that stuff, and my YouTube side is very compartmentalized. So the way that I do that, it makes sense to me. I want to be as detached as much as possible from the day-to-day operations of the actual business. You're saying you're running the company. Is there a world in which what is your job title? Is there a world in which you step back and you are just not an actor necessarily, but you're the guy, you're MrBeast, and you let the business be operated by an entity to where you can stand beside it essentially, instead of being at the head of it?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's my channel. It's my company. So I wouldn't take it that far. I think the big thing is just bringing in people who have actually ran a company at this size before, because eventually I will be more educated and knowledgeable. Every day I'm learning more on how to properly run a company with hundreds of people and better do it. But I'm still very ignorant. I probably crossed 100 employees 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, but it's still just growing. So because across everything, if you include Feastables and ViewStats, we have over 400 employees.
Chat, it is 23 minutes into the video. Of course it's going to start soft.
It's just, it's a learning thing. But that's the thing. While I'm learning, I need to bring in people who have been there and, learn from them.
Yeah, because there's no replacement for just experience, right?
Exactly.
You can be as smart as anybody, but if you haven't been able to go through the things you've gone through and things just personally that I know that I've gone through and learned from business, it's not possible to know. It's not possible to know how to react to those things, or that's why I sort of try to do my best to compartmentalize my business. Obviously, different beast than what you're operating, but it just it's just it's difficult, and it does make sense. And you've used the word ignorant a couple times. I'd be interested to see how changes are made after this, which you've already made a lot of changes. Obviously, the anonymous reporting is the biggest one for HR.
Yeah.
That's been a repeat.
And it's that's one of those things where, it's not I was we don't need, I just didn't know. I never seen the data they showed me. And if any other people have this kind of stuff, I'm always open to learning.
Of course, yeah. And I think the most important thing too is at the end of the day, you've got the most to gain from all this.
Exactly. I want my employees happy. I gain nothing out of them not being happy. It hurts me. It's I have a monetarily incentivization to do this kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I feel the criticism of entities like yours and even mine, with truth, obviously, and logic, and there's a real basis, a rationale that makes sense, that's centered in reality.
Yeah.
I feel that's super important because once again, you have so much to gain, and you spend less. You make a little.
Sorry, then why would any company ever have issues like this? Why do we have anti-corruption laws? Why would we? Why would any company become corrupt or anything if keeping the employees happy and not having issues was so important?
A little bit less money, but your employees are substantially happier, and they feel safer or just more confident in you as their leader or their boss. So it's it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how all this kind of goes from here after this point, especially.
Yeah,
because this is a big moment.
I know, the interview, the day of the interview.
But that makes sense though. I mean, and I don't want to continuously interject my own business experience, but I think it does set me apart from other YouTubers who are involved in this, in that I do have business experience. From it's sort of the same thing. I just fell into running actual businesses and having
Yeah.
to do payroll
Sorry
and
for the
HR.
ask,
And I'm
Cam.
like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
I had no idea any of this stuff existed. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get fucked. Your mom was previously head of your HR department. And some people have criticized that as a conflict of interest. Did you personally, at the time, even consider that? And do you now also acknowledge that that is a conflict of interest?
Oh, I agree. That's a dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
I do think context matters though, because like this is where a lot of these things that I assume we're going to talk about is like people conflate current MrBeast with 400 employees and spending
Yes.
hundreds of millions of dollars a year with MrBeast when he's a teenager and starting. I mean, when I first started hiring people, it was like, oh, we went to high school together. You want to help me make videos? And I hired a couple of my friends from high school. So, and then I was like, how do I do taxes and this kind of stuff? And I was like, Mom, help. And so, I mean, I wouldn't say she was head of HR. I mean, she was, I guess, but she was also running finance, and it's not like a real company. We just get in this like little 700 or no, actually that one was $1,080 a month office I was renting, and I'd just be like to this one guy that I knew from high school, all right, today you're gonna go paint this thing. Today, you friend number 2, you're gonna like help me edit this, and you friend number 3, you're gonna go to the store and buy 1,000 chickens that like scream when you press down on them. And Mom, I don't know, just make sure the IRS doesn't sue me. Like that's the time frame we're talking about here. But yes, I agree. Like it's stupid. Like you definitely shouldn't have your mom as an HR person. You should just hire someone who was educated in HR, which is obviously what we have. We have an HR team now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think, and that's sort of like one of the weird things from just a business perspective. Once again, it's like someone becomes HR by default. Yeah. Even if you don't say, well, this is the HR person, this is our contact.
I mean, because like back then, it's like, I mean, if you had a problem, just tell me. There's like 5 of us. You know?
That's true. Yeah,
but yes, but still, I'm like, in this, I'm not trying to like deflect everything. Like, I mean, yes, obviously you should hire an actual HR person. Agreed.
That's good advice.
Yes.
That's sound advice. I do agree with that.
Shocker.
Totally. Yeah, crazy. The no doesn't mean no policy that was criticized. That was crazy. I mean, when I first saw that, I was like, what the fuck?
Well, you're answering for me. Let me answer.
Hold on. It was criticized, especially by Soggy recently, of having been taken out of context. Can you explain what the no doesn't mean no policy was and why it was in the...
Yes. So, yeah. So... It's funny, even the word like policy, it's like, so when we started hiring more people, I wrote this little, I almost like advice book just for a lot of employees, because I wasn't able to talk with people as much as I was early on. And one part of it that people, when this thing got leaked, and I wrote it with some other people in my company, it wasn't just me, but when this got leaked, there's a section that said no does not mean no. And then they just like cropped that out. And they're like, look, this is proof Jimmy's immoral and evil. When obviously, like you were saying, if you read the context below, it makes sense. The gist of why we had a section that said no does not mean no is because we do, I don't know if anyone's ever seen our videos, crazy things that have never been done before, right? No one's ever, on YouTube at least, buried themselves alive for 7 days. No one like tries to dangle an obstacle course from cranes. And it's like, the problem I kept running into early on when I was hiring people.
You just referenced that video that guy was really butthurt about creating. Like,
I'd be like, hey, I want to do this. And then they would go call someone. So like, let's say the obstacle course in the sky, where we had like this obstacle courses that Mac did, held up by these cranes, weighed like 100,000 pounds or whatever. Like they would call crane companies and they'd be like, no. And then they'd be like, okay, hang up. And they'd come to me and they'd go, Jimmy, they said, no, we can't do it. The video's not possible. And it's like, okay, well, of course they're going to say no, because everything we do has never been done before. But like, ask them why. And like, obviously, if they don't be rude, but if they say no, just try to understand why, right? And a lot of times you'll have an instance where like, well, we can't get all the cranes at one time because we're renting them out. And it's like, okay, perfect. We respect that, but can I offer something before you actually hard say no? What if we went to the 2 or 3 other clients that day that were renting the cranes, we paid them 5 times the amount of money they paid to rent those cranes to just, rent them a week later, and let's just see. And then the company would usually be like, oh, you would do that? It's like, yeah, like we want to work with you to find a solution to make your problem our problem and solve it. And then like, then a hard no will 50% of the time turn into, oh, well, yeah, actually we can do it if you're willing to spend a little extra money or whatever. So that was me trying to educate my employees on that. And somehow, well, I don't know, I'm not even gonna say somehow, I know how. I mean, people who didn't care about the truth and just, wanted to spread disinformation and manipulate and lie to millions of people, which it worked, spun that into, I mean, I'm not even going to state the obvious, but I mean, which made no sense because the context for it was literally written right below it. But I mean, that just shows the ill will intent of certain people.
Yeah, because no doesn't mean no. I mean, that is like, there's just a massive, heavy negative connotation with that, obviously, in the zeitgeist. So, yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense in a vacuum, or, you know, with this context, it does make perfect sense, but you got to see, if I were to be like, yeah, this guy, MrBeast, he's getting canceled for all kinds of crazy shit, and he has a no doesn't mean no policy. Anyways, like, that's crazy.
I know.
That's fucking
And you should
insane.
throw it on screen so your viewers can
so
see.
they can actually see the
so you
full
can see
thing,
the context because it clearly lays it out. So no one actually saw that and thought what these channels were implying.
Yeah.
They just willfully were ignorant so they could get 1 out of 10s and make some money. I mean, that's the truth. Like, I'm sorry, but
Now on to sort of content production and the question of authenticity behind the content that you make. There have been claims that you use some CGI in your videos, that is computer-generated imagery. Do you think the use of CGI can undermine the credibility or authenticity of the content that you're making? And if so, why do you choose to use it?
good question. And yes, I do think rampant use of CGI can undermine it. And I try to do my best to be transparent. Did you ever see So Crispy's video where they showed the behind the scenes of our Squid Game video?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so we've done that. We've done lots of BTS videos on them, and we've done other BTS videos. So I try to show it transparently, but let me think about it. I mean, honestly, the truth is, like, can you, obviously there are channels like Corridor Digital and stuff like that, but can you really think of any, like, entertainment channels like mine that really do this, like even have the budgets to kind of do this kind of stuff? It's something I've always thought a lot about, because like we're really pushing boundaries, and like I want to like keep leveling things up, and I think that's a cool way to do it. But it's not like there's some like playbook on how to like incorporate it, right? Because no one else really does it. Like something I was thinking about is like also we rarely use it. Like, I mean, maybe like 0.1% of my shots. Like if we have like a background that like doesn't look too cool, like it's just like black but it looks a little off, we'll just like darken it out in post. Like that's like majority of what we do, or sometimes we'll extend a set. But I was thinking, like, when we do, because we pour millions of dollars into these videos, we build massive sets, like we go through so much links to make these huge videos, and the last thing I want is people to be like questioning whether or not things are CGI. I mean, like, the sets we build are fucking crazy, man. Like, it's wild. Like, you should come see the like behind the scenes of it. I mean, sometimes we spend 100 days just literally building one room.
What about the CGI and philanthropy though?
That's insane.
So yeah, I was thinking like maybe just potentially, I don't know, this is the first time I'm saying it publicly, like time stamping in the description when we do.
That's interesting.
Yeah, or like having some like gimmicky thing where like whenever we do, we like put like a little Beast logo on it, so it's like a thing that if people wanted to identify, they could. I mean, I'm down to figure something out. I mean, we just don't really use it that much. It's just like a thing few and far between. But what I really don't want is people to not be able to trust my videos just because occasionally I want to make a wall blacker, or like I want to extend a set a little bit.
For those who don't know, there's CGI with the hospital as well as like a house, I believe,
just to make it look cooler and like you feel in tune with it. Because what we do on its own is insane. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to be fair too, I totally get what you're saying, and like the logic for the CGI call doesn't really make a lot of sense to me personally. To me, maybe it would undermine the credibility if you're like changing things genuinely, or like you have an outcome that's the thumbnail and you're only getting it by manipulating. But like there are times in my videos where my head is bigger than my head in real life because my editors make it bigger. That's CGI, right?
Yeah.
The words, the subtitles in your video, they're not real. That's CGI technically.
True. Yeah.
So it's like there's just it's just that one's like a really sort of slippery slope. But I think that's a good idea. If you were to put timestamps, or if you sort of are transparent about AI generative content, that's something that you could do as the biggest content creator in the world to be even more ethical than is really necessary.
Yeah. The only thing is then, which I'm down. Like I want to keep brainstorming these things out. It's just like you said, like I in my head, I didn't even think of text on the bottom as CGI, and like everyone might have a little different definition of it. So I just want to make sure, like, what I would classify as it, like, and so, but agreed, there's some solution here, or just stop using it. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I mean, we build crazy sets. It's usually just to make them look 1% cooler.
You can figure it out.
Yeah. So there is some answer here. Like, that's not a thing that scares me. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. I think people would appreciate the transparency on that as well. Like because there reality television, it's all extremely manipulative, and I think that's like the basis of it. So if you were to sort of go above and beyond even the worst, whatever competitors that you don't even really have on YouTube and put like a Beast logo or timestamps, I personally think that would be kind of cool.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that'd be sort of epic. There was an allegation that you used CGI to create the impression that you guys built
here it
a
is.
hospital, part of a hospital, in order to deceive viewers or manipulate them into believing that you did more than you actually did.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Honestly, truthful, dumb mistake. At the start of one of our Beast Philanthropy videos, they were trying to show what this like building looked like in the past. And in the past, that hospital wasn't there. So they removed it in the editing, which, and this was just like a small part of this isn't even like the point of the video was that we built this hospital or whatever. There was just a shot at the beginning. But some people saw that and like thought we did build it, which is not the intention. And so it's just a dumb mistake. Like trust me, when I saw that, I talked to the editors. I was like, come on, like, I have 100 editors and obviously we have a bunch of different channels and things like that. So it's hard for me to like speak with all of them, but it was just truthfully a silly mistake.
Nah. Stop the cap. What do you mean? What do you mean oopsie poopsie? An editor did that by choice. That's a lot of editors making that. I'm sorry. That's interesting to call. I mean, I'm glad he's saying he fucked up. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad he's saying he fucked up. It was a mistake. I'm sorry.
And like thought we did build it with the bear. So that's a great one. Honestly, truthful, dumb mistake. At the start of one of our Beast Philanthropy videos, they were trying to show what this like building looked like in the past. And in the past, that hospital wasn't there. So they removed it in the editing, which, and this was just like a small part of this isn't even like the point of the video was that we built this hospital or whatever. There was just a shot at the beginning. But some people saw that and like thought we did build it, which is not the intention. And so it's just a dumb mistake. Like trust me, when I saw that, I talked to the editors. I was like, come on.
What editor goes, oh, it didn't exist back then, so let's just fucking remove it? I don't, that doesn't feel right. I don't know. That seems really stupid on this kind of, I don't know.
Like, I have 100 editors and obviously we have a bunch of different channels and things like that. So it's hard for me to like.
Yeah, we built this, we fixed up this home. Editors, if you could just, do an editing, just touch up how this home looked before we were there, and the editor just hits their like clicky clacky. Oh, the home wasn't there 5 years ago. Let's just delete it. What?
Speak with all of them, but it was.
I'm sorry. That's
truthfully a silly mistake. We never said we built that hospital or anything, but I could see how some people might perceive that we were trying to like give off that we were. And it's a little unfortunate because Beast Philanthropy, my YouTube channel, how do I say this where it's like I'm not trying to like is literally owned by a 501c3. Like it's a YouTube channel that is a nonprofit, which is crazy. Like as far as I know, that's the only one. And Beast Philanthropy does so much good. And like that, what's the only reason people. This is what's funny because like to the people like trying to call me evil and say we fake philanthropy, the only reason anyone even knows any of this is because we actually did a behind the scenes video on that video. So like clearly I wasn't aware of this because we did BTS and we were the ones who revealed this information. You know what I mean? So like if we were trying to hide things, like we wouldn't have done BTS on that video. That's how people got this information. So it's just like a little mistake, but it's sad because now people are using that to point at our Beast Philanthropy channel, which does a lot. I mean, it will just scroll through the videos. I mean, whether we're building schools in Africa or, giving electricity to remote villages, or we're giving clothes to people who don't have it, or we're feeding people. I mean, it does a lot of really good projects. Now, truthfully, that channel is struggling to get brand deals because of all the slander on it, because everyone, has convinced advertisers that the videos are fake and that it doesn't actually do philanthropy. And it's like, it does. And just like one little editing mistake on one of dozens of videos. Like, I mean, it's unfortunate because it's actually having a pretty severe impact on the charity and its image. And like, I don't know, just unfortunate.
You think the impact is not obviously just the CGI hospital edit, but just the entire situation in general?
No, I mean, of course, the entire general situation, but no, after that hospital thing, a lot of people made videos saying Beast philanthropy is fake and saying we fake our philanthropy, and it's specifically attacking it. And then, like that whole 100% of the revenue on the charity, on the channel is what we use to fund the charity. And that like spooked off a lot of people because they're like, oh, so this charity is not authentic. Because like, obviously people don't want to work with the charity.
So because you've made mistakes, because the public doesn't like the shit that, again, they haven't addressed yet. So let's, give them credit. Still haven't covered it. Because you've received flack, you're now blaming people for the fact that you can't raise the money to put it towards the charity. I'm so that's like a deflection of blame. I don't know. I think it is absolutely a mix. I think it's absolutely mixed. There are things that have been just wrong, that have been blatantly wrong. But for you to say that, and including the house too, like I don't know. I don't know.
That's not legit, which
this feels really weird.
As legit as it gets.
Something's just ticking in me. That's like, that feels wrong.
Mistake, which I get. Now I'm sounding like I'm downplaying. I mean, it was just a mistake in editing. Doesn't discredit all the projects Beast Philanthropy has done around the world and the tens of thousands of lives it's changed. And I mean, yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair admission too, because it's like, and once again, optically, you're.
Yeah, that's a great fucking point. Doesn't have the money for the charity, but can go gamble.
The guy who's talking about, spending 26 hours a day looking at data, and every decision, every single frame that's in a video is combed over, and then that is a mistake, obviously, that you're capable of making, your team is capable of making, and like the whole thing is capable of making, and people, they'll compare and contrast whether they know or not. Like, they think everything you're doing is 110% deliberate.
Yeah, well, that's the unfortunate part, because like, if someone, again, just to be clear, the only reason anyone even knows.
So I want to make a correction. Someone said poor millionaire. It's billionaire.
Because we did BTS. So, I mean, but if that would have happened, 8 months ago, I would have just responded to a tweet saying my bad and just like re-edited it in YouTube editor and just added a voiceover, and it would have been fine. It's just now that, due to the circumstances, everyone's like, we finally got the proof. The philanthropy's fake. He's fake. And like, let's tear down his charity. And yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's just a silly editing mistake. Like, the VO we should just had VO over that clip just saying we didn't build this hospital. But it was also not even the whole point of the video. It's just like,
guys, you have to remember, Oompa can't confront him angrily. Good cop job is to make the person comfortable, so they spill everything without thinking. I agree with the first part. He has to start soft. Absolutely. That's how interviews work.
If you watch it, it's just a clip at the start. It's literally not even what the video's about.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've mentioned
I've had to do interviews in the past. I've watched a ton of interviews. That makes sense. Like, we're gonna start soft. He did push him on this though, which we did get information about, which we can talk about later. But
behind the scenes footage of that, specifically the hospital video in regard to your philanthropy channel, would you be willing to or consider releasing like more detailed behind the scenes footage or a breakdown of that with the VO you're talking about? Or the editors who worked on it and sort of their thoughts and opinions or whatever, because they're the ones working on it, right? Like, what
on
was
that
their
video
intention?
specifically?
Or just in general.
Yeah, well, that one in specifically. I mean, we're owning up to it. I mean, I don't want to put them on blast publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a silly little mistake. Obviously, we talked about how we could
silly
prevent
little
it in the
mistake.
future, but
silly
I'm
little.
sure, shocker, at some point we're gonna have some other editing mishap over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not something I can't guarantee will ever happen again.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we're doing our best to make sure it doesn't. But in general, I would love to do more behind the scenes. Like, I think throughout all this, I think what is causing some of this is like confusion is because there is so much mystery around how we do our videos, because people don't know how we do it. It's like, it's almost easier to believe there is this like they're fake or they're rigged, and he didn't actually build a bunker and put it underground and have two people live in it for 100 days and record the entire time and do all this. It's almost getting to the point where it's easier to believe it's not real. And I think like just having more transparency and doing behind the scenes would help. I've been wanting to do that for a little bit. It's just truthfully, I just got to build the team. I was we're looking into getting some editors and like a person dedicated for doing it, like, because we have to like intentionally film those shots.
Right.
A lot of it is like, so we're like building out the team. It's just like it just takes time. Like, you even need someone who will make the thumbnails for it, and like, I also don't want there to be editing mistakes in this, so I need someone who's doing QC, and that's like a really important thing, because I don't want them to post it and make a claim in the BTS that's not true and say, hey, we spent $500,000 in this bunker, and it was actually $480,000.
Yeah, that's another great point. If they caught it in editing like afterwards, why didn't they change it anyway? Like if he caught it, or like did this get brought to his attention recently because of this shit and you just never noticed?
Right. Yeah. Which is these are the little kinds of things that, you know, because I have such a large company, people will do, and they think it's innocent, but it's like, no, like but at the end of the day, it's my name on it. And so it's like, in theory, it
I don't know if that's a good point,
like,
actually.
You're already filming, just throw a BTS, but there's a whole big process in it to make sure that
was a bad point on me, because he would have only been able to find out about it because of what Dogpack had shown when that like publicized. That's probably the time he went and noticed it himself.
Also true and authentic.
If we're going that way, if that makes sense.
And good. And
not trying to defend him, I just don't think that point legitimately has a very good backing on it, because realistically, he could have just found out recently and gone through that. I still don't agree with the point he made, but yeah.
Actually edited well, and so, I mean, I don't know when I'll be able to build out the team and get it right, but I think that will help a lot. If people knew like the effort and work that went into the videos and like just how we do it, I think they would look at it differently and be like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, and I think to circle back a little bit, I don't think even showing the, you know, in behind the scenes, like if that were to have existed specifically with like the philanthropy stuff or another time where you're adding CGI or whatever, if you had the intention of the people who are doing it, in that behind the scenes footage, it wouldn't be necessarily even putting them on blast or you know, showing any mistake. You would have from the very beginning transparency.
Yeah.
So I think that would be, I mean, that would
I'm
be
on
awesome.
the same page here. Hey, if anyone watching this wants to help work on my BTS channel, I'm actually serious. We're actively hiring and trying to figure it out. So I mean, yeah. I really think that would help a bunch. Like just plus I just want to show people how we do this stuff. Like it's pretty crazy the stuff we're doing now.
I mean, realistically, it sounds like some of these problems, if like there was just sort of, you have the opportunity now to just be like super ethical and hire a couple more teams for transparency and do something that not only the 300 million subscriber YouTuber, but like you are leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else in terms of like transparency.
Yeah,
which people really like that type of stuff. Even if they don't like search out for it, they just like to see someone who's honest and you know, relatable.
I agree.
And like, you know, you guys are really good at this insane MrBeast thing, but like you said, even with sort of talking about the allegations in the beginning, you didn't want to make a video where you're just sitting there, it just feels cringe and awkward. Yeah. Oh, no. Like but you know, it makes sense, right? Like I get your perspective and the outsider's perspective. It's cool to see, you know, how it's not cool to see how angry people can get, but it is cool to see that there is a possible answer to those situations, like being super ethical and transparent in a way that nobody else has ever been before.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably do that. So there's evidence that you put your previous employees, friends, whatever, controlled opposition in your challenge videos, such as the 100 boys versus 100 girls video.
Yeah.
Okay,
did you put them in that video or videos like that specifically to rig the outcome
of the challenge?
The challenge? And if so, do you think that's acceptable, MrBeast?
I know. That one was a big one. Videos talking about my 100 boys versus 100 girls video in the last couple months. That one, people really talked about that one. So yes, Sagi's video, he you know, talked about this and uncovered it. I'm surprised more people didn't. Like my girlfriend after that video literally went on a podcast and described this. So it's not even like this was hidden information. This has been out there.
You were in the video 100 girls versus 100 boys for $500,000.
Yes. On the day, everybody had to go for COVID tests, and a lot of people came, got their COVID tests, and they tested positive. And the girls somehow ended up with way too little contestants. So I got a call randomly from the studio, and they're like, we need a female. I'm like, well, I am a female. I guess I could do this 100-hour challenge.
Were you dating at the time?
Yes.
And did the others know you were dating MrBeast at the time?
They pretended that they didn't, but I think some of them caught on.
Did he like move to the side of the circle and just check up on you?
He avoided eye contact at all costs.
But I mean, literally, like she said on the podcast, we had 100 boys, 100 girls. They're competing in a video. Leading up to the video, they're supposed to quarantine. This was years ago when, you know, at the height of COVID. A lot of questions people have about my videos, like that in these recent things I've noticed, usually the answer is like COVID, like why things aren't as like we would normally do it. But in this instance, they quarantined. When they showed up to the studio, a couple people on both sides tested positive for COVID. We didn't have them all in a group. We, you know, isolated, tested. And so now I'm stuck with a tough decision because we have all these people who just took off work for a week and took even more days off work to film this video. You know, a couple people on each side of the 100 girls, 100 boys tested positive for COVID. I can't go grab random people off the street because they haven't quarantined, right? And back then, I think COVID tests are better now, but back then, it took like 2 days for the COVID test to be able to pick up whether or not you had COVID, something like that. Not a doctor. This isn't Joe Rogan. I obviously, bro, no one knows that though, right? I could have just gone and grabbed random people off the street and it would have been fine. But I was trying to like be protective of the contestants. So my employees were routinely quarantining back then because, in the studio and things like that, we didn't want an outbreak. So I just went to the employees who weren't working on the 100 Girls versus 100 Boys video and was like, hey, I don't want to cancel this video. Who wants to be in it? And so a couple of them volunteered, filled in the empty gaps. My girlfriend quarantined with me, so I threw her in there. And then we got the numbers up. I was good. The video's on. And yeah, they were competing for money like everyone else. Transparency, I'll look at the camera. No, they were not there to rig it. I did not tell them what to get out. I did not tell them what to do. They had their own free will. And yeah, I really didn't think too much of it. And, here we are a couple years later, and that's turning into proof that I put employees in videos to rig them and script them, and they're just filling in for some people who got COVID.
Yeah, I think it's another situation in which
I think you should have just been transparent about that then.
it's like, sure, there's evidence or whatever of both or whatever. It's like a trust me bro versus a trust me bro.
But this one's not even a trust me bro. Like, I mean, my girlfriend literally years ago said on a podcast all of this, so it's not even like I'm retroactively making this up. I mean,
right.
I could probably go pull up COVID tests and show you. I mean, it's
just in terms of like the interpretation of what people have for that specific event. Like when someone like you or someone with this big thing, people just see who they don't care. They see, oh, he's using his friends. Like obviously it's fucking rigged, but they're not going to look into it.
Sorry, I just saw Zawi, my friend. I'm always shocked when people wish YouTubers could be taken seriously to make movies and TV shows. And here's a YouTuber who's trying. Yeah, but like, he's doing a real shit job at it. Like, yeah, we would hope so, but we'd also hope that they do a good job. Like Markiplier, for instance, who is actually kicking ass. But when you don't take the quality of the healthcare for your contestants while they're on set for your games, it kind of makes people upset,
It's just optically, like there's so many things that it's really easy. Like there's like such a crazy slippery slope for a lot of this stuff.
And it's like, the thing is, I mean, I could have been like, oh, people got COVID and canceled it. And then we'd be sitting here talking about how I had these people quarantined for 7 days and then I just rug pulled them. You know what I mean? And so like, it's a little bit of damned if you, damned if you don't. Like either way, I'd be sitting here talking to you about it, So I just tried to take the most ethical, moral stance and, prioritize health and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Yeah,
I agree.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, hopefully now that people hear the truth, they agree as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just.
Do you guys want me to bump this up to 1.25?
Yeah, it's been brutal hearing that misinformation be spread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine that, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of people who really do not like you at all.
Yeah.
How does it feel in real life? Do you feel it in real life at all, or is it just internet?
No, it's just the internet. We talked a little bit before this. I mean, also,
no,
it's late at night.
Okay, I'm saying yes, no,
I just flew here to do this. This is a very impromptu thing.
Yeah.
But
we don't have captions, so I'll leave it at 1
minutes we were talking before we started recording. I was telling him like, no one in real life has any idea of any of this. Like I mean, hundreds of people, and they're all just like, "Yo, what's up, MrBeast?" They never bring it up. Yeah. But then you would open up Reddit.
We'll run a poll. We'll run a poll.
Censoring positive posts, but and you would think, well, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, that does make sense. You would think everyone hates me because anyone who doesn't, their post gets deleted. So actually, that makes perfect sense.
Okay. By the way, I went through the doc that they're talking about. Oops, not this. That's my gaming channel. I went through the document that they're talking about. I just want to point this out about deleting posts related to defending him. Let's just go through a few of them really fucking quick here. Okay. First, it was falsely accusing James Warren of domestic violence, animal abuse, and was falsely reporting a fake lunch leave recall. Now the alleged CP sharing in a group chat wasn't in fact CP. It was shown time and time again to prioritize immediate attention cloud over any serious fact-checking and journalistic integrity. This was removed for misinformation. The video was to prove MrBeast did know, not to prove Ava posted CP. This is stuff shared in the work Telegram server. I think that's a dumb one. I agree. That's kind of good evidence for it. I don't really like that. Breaking Dogpack can't take personal responsibility because other people were talking about a different person in a chat a year ago. The mods will handle this post. If you have any questions, I don't know about this one. Part of the video made me lose faith in Dogpack. This drama has been posted within this subreddit before. This post was removed due to lack of context. Please provide a description of the drama and people involved before reposting. Contact mods with any questions. Miranda Smokes, blah, blah, blah. Believe this drama has been posted within this subreddit before. This is not drama. Redundant post. Keep all discussion on this topic related to, within the related mega thread. Use the search bar, check pin post. Keep all discussions of this topic within the mega thread. Just put it in the right spot. They're not deleting it maliciously. They're just saying put it in the right spot. This is not drama. Should we still trust Rosanna Pantino? This is not drama. This comment has been removed due to trolling. Even then, Soggy calls out stuff from MrBeast is doing. So this is the one, I guarantee that post was Soggy, they were calling Soggy a dumbass or something like that, or saying that he's a meat writer, and they're literally defending him. Comment post removed for misinformation. MrBeast allegations that seemingly have no evidence. We don't know what's in it, so, fair to that. But a lot of these are just like, this is not enough drama to warrant a new post in this situation. Like, a lot of these are not providing or proving that they're maliciously removing stuff that's at your defense. They're just not following the terms that are needed to make a post. That's my issue with it. Like, you're not really defending yourself here. I will say, though, there were a few of them that I can't, say that about, or especially the first few, actually. Like, mods will handle this if you have any questions. This is interesting. Dogpack can't take personal, so yeah, I can't speak for this one. Part of the video made me lose faith in Dogpack. This drama has been posted before. The video was to prove MrBeast did no, not to prove Ava posted CP. It kind of was both. I'm with Jimmy on this one specifically. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and even some of the YouTubers that I know, like you mentioned,
okay, sorry, I'm doing the poll.
Clip to YouTubers, and they're like, well, it's just not cool. I don't want to be seen as a MrBeast glazer. I mean, even the sort of feelings amongst YouTubers.
All right, pull this up.
Their responsibility is to, responsibility, very loose use of the term, to talk about anything online or whatever. Even they're afraid, or they just don't want, like. So it's just the internet. There's this really weird. The sort of echo chamber. Not that obviously everything that you've done is can just be swept under the rug. I mean, you've admitted to mistakes. I think that everything that is a genuine mistake, you once again have the most to gain from all this. So it's not going to fucking hurt you to just admit where you're wrong or whatever. I think that's a very interesting one, the 100 boys versus 100 girls video, because to me, without looking into it at all, it's like that vote, right? Like it just seems like once again a conflict of interest. But at the same time, you're making YouTube videos. You're not making, like, I don't know. You can endlessly make excuses for it and against it. It seems like that's why I'm saying it's kind of.
I mean, I think between like the contestants and people we've given stuff to in videos, like pretty confidently say like less than 1% of it's employees. So if you were to take everyone who's ever been in the video, so like we're like. And a lot of it was, like I said, during the COVID time, where it's just like, well, I'm trying to be responsible, and I know so it's like, I mean, I think when you look at it through those lenses, I feel like any rational person would be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. Okay, so now on to the response to critics. So the first person really to respond to critics was Chucky. But the second person, it seemed like, was Soggy Cereal, YouTuber, commentary YouTuber. And he made a video, and he's been, that video is sort of blowing up a little bit. It's not quite to the level of Dogpack's video when it first came out, but it's coming up, and he did his best.
I'm seeing 55 if that keeps getting higher. Okay.
And even held you accountable for a lot of stuff in his video.
1.25 speed?
I thought his video was pretty good. I liked his video a lot, and I like him a lot. I've talked to him since that came out. I've talked to him a couple times. Yeah, he has criticized you today and last night, I think, to sort of time.
I'm interested that he's bringing this up.
Recorded so people know.
We don't have subtitles. That's the issue.
Soggy has criticized you sharing his video with other YouTubers as a way to shield yourself from criticism, like deeming the video to people. He also expressed feeling used by you, given that you used his video as a strategy to gather favor from the public, which, that's pretty wordy. It's like it just happened today. It's got to be something like, how do you feel about him feeling that way? Because he's not really defending you. He's more so
I'm not using that.
Trying to hold light to truth, which I appreciate that massively.
Yeah.
And I do, talking to him, I do believe that he is an honest guy.
Actually, fuck it. Can we?
How does that? How do you interpret his responses on Twitter? If you've seen them, have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen him.
Okay.
I mean, I interpret as him just trying to be honest with his audience and just expressing how he feels. And I think, obviously he probably in his head, if he was even being more honest, he'd probably be like, Jimmy, why don't you just say these things? Why am I saying it? And I think obviously now that I'm here and doing this, that will alleviate it. But I could see how it feels. Like, obviously I saw that video and it, disproved. I mean, there are some things in there I don't agree with, and he does go pretty hard on me, so which people seem to forget. But there are a lot of things in there that he disproved, and yeah, I mean, I got excited and shot it over to a bunch of creators who covered the false information, and was just like, look, I could see how that looks like I'm hiding behind it. Luckily, I'm here talking to you, so
yeah.
I don't think that will be a problem anymore. But obviously, he's not, when he tweeted that, he doesn't know we were doing this, doesn't know this is coming out. I mean, he might now. I don't, you talk to him, but yeah. So like, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? It's a reasonable thing. Like, I think if I were to read a little between lines, he's just saying like, I don't want to be a shield. Jimmy, say something. You know what I mean? Like, actually go address things and like,
yeah, because he's really not defending you. He's just disproving Dogpack. Like that.
Exactly.
That's the primary kind of driver, or that's how I interpreted his video. I was like, oh, this is pretty balanced. Yeah, I like him. He's a cool dude.
I'll give it a go.
He didn't go with the grain and disprove.
Okay, hold on. What the fuck? Ah! Oh, it didn't work. What is that? What is that? I don't.
Proved a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also went kind of hard on me too. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah.
He's not a big fan of Lunchley.
He's not. That's one thing for sure. He does not like Lunchley.
By commenting on his video, you left a comment on Soggy's video.
Okay, it looks like yes is winning. We don't have captions. Is that okay? Like we'll do 1.25. We don't have captions. They haven't generated yet.
Finally, a video that doesn't spread baseless slander about me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a stupid comment. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, how do you think that looks? I mean.
Yeah, dumb. Agreed.
Okay.
Especially the LOL. That just
If it gets, I will say, if it gets to something hard hitting, I'm gonna slow it back down.
Next question. Yeah. Dumb.
Yeah.
The answer. Dumb. Yes.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, you can move the speed of mine.
So yeah, it's like it kind of gives weight to you sort of taking the situation lightly. Like if anybody should be taking the situation lightly, it should be like me or Soggy or people like people who aren't actively involved in the situation. How would you put that worry, that concern at ease for someone who's like willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, which I think is super important. And you say something like that, and then it seems like you are taking the situation in general lightly.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good question. I mean honestly, there's just a lot of disinformation that was correct in that video. And I just wrote that comment and then right afterwards sent it to a couple of YouTubers, which, because just like finally this this thing is here. But I agree. Like dumb comment.
Legal and ethical issues. I feel like this is probably going to be a little bit more sort of. We're going to need some facts on screen to back up like whatever's being said here, just to because like there's only so much you can say.
Yeah.
So, and Soggy did a good job of sort of disproving a lot of these claims just in general, or giving weight to ones that deserve to have weight given to them. Yeah. So watch his video. Obviously, I think he did a lot of work on this stuff. So Dawson claimed that you ran multiple illegal lotteries, and in Soggy's video, he sort of I think disproved 2, and then 1 he still believes was an illegal lottery.
Yes.
Do you believe that you ran an illegal lottery? Did you believe at the time? What was your mindset? Did you check with the FCC? Was there any compliance, any steps taken to prevent this? What is your just perspective on that?
Yes. So I don't think we did. I have people looking into it and like trying to pull the footage and figure it out. He disproved the 2, which I mean, those were crazy. I don't want to just like speculate. I have a team looking into it. I don't think we did though. But regardless, just to be truthful, if people want a refund or think for whatever reason, like we did something wrong, like I'll send you a link that you can just put in the description where they can get a refund. Maybe just throw it on the screen here.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, at the moment, that's all I really have to say. Maybe I can do a follow up in the future. I'm trying to, dig up all the footage from that live stream. This was like many years ago. Like this isn't like something I did 3 months ago.
Yeah. COVID. It was 2020, right?
I don't remember.
I think the first one, the questionable one that Soggy had in his video was in 2020. I think it was in August 2020.
And I just don't have the footage from him, so I'm looking him up.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think. I think at the very least, if people felt misled or whatever, or if it was
100% request a refund. I mean,
definitely.
we do that anyways. Like on our site, if people want refunds, we give it to them. But for this specifically, we can just give you a URL, throw it right here. I mean, I have no idea what it'll be, and yeah, just send us your order code. Really, no big deal.
Cool. The investigation confirmed. So the third-party investigation confirmed isolated incidents of harassment. How were these incidents addressed? And what systemic changes did you implement from after the investigation to prevent things like this from ever happening again? I'm assuming it's going to piggyback directly off the
what
the
we
HR
talked about before.
improvements.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, agreed. Like we talked about before, I have hundreds of employees, and when we brought the outside third party in, and I was like, hey, talk to whoever you need to, get an honest pulse of how some people are feeling. There were some things that people hadn't made us aware of that they felt more comfortable talking to Quinn and Manuel on, which is obviously ultimately why we ended up doing the anonymous hotline and that kind of stuff. And what you asked, what did we do? How do we handle it? Like I said before, it's just whatever they told me. If they told me like I need to fire someone, we fired them. Like I mean, it's not like I don't want to be the arbiter of truth. I want people who are professional in these things to get the information, make sure they have all the facts, and I want them to tell me what to do, right? Because obviously I work with these people, and so I could have some form of bias or whatever, or maybe I like this person better, and so I like to stay away from that kind of stuff. And so I just did whatever they told me to do, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel when you found out that a third-party investigation concluded that there were incidents of harassment in your business?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I was like, well, how can we, like we talked about before, and so I started educating myself, and I've been bringing in new leaders and people who have worked in bigger companies, and I was just like, help me make sure like this kind of stuff doesn't happen and educate me on these kinds of things. Like, again, like this company has grown so fast. Like I keep saying the number 400 just so people realize this isn't just 10 employees making YouTube videos like it was for me 5 years ago. And so my first instinct was just like, educate me. Who do I bring in? How do we solve these things? And like I said before, it dials down to two things: making sure you're not fostering it, and then when it does happen, making sure you respond appropriately, and just like trying to learn everything I can in those two areas, and just find the best people in the world in those two areas to just review everything and make sure we're doing it correctly.
Dude, people were fired. How many people were disciplined, fired? Was it more like, how did that feel, knowing that there was like an amount of people that had to be disciplined, terminated, whatever, as a result of an investigation? It's kind of things just happening basically under your nose, due to a lack of business acumen or care or whatever word you would want to use.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
Well, I mean, like, I haven't even met all the people that work for me, because it's so big and we have people all around the world and things like that, just for context. I don't want people to think like, oh, these are people I'm just working with every single day and are just oblivious. But I mean, it just felt like I need to improve. I need to learn more, and just, I want to fix these things, So, I mean, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. There you go. That's what I was looking for.
I'm a problem solver. When there's problems, like my default reaction, like instinct, is how do we solve it? And that's, what we've been obsessing over. And I feel like we've made a lot of progress, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Are you going to sue Dogpack?
All right.
Are you going to sue Dogpack?
Well, there's tons of examples of him intentionally manipulating things to not be true and posting it online. Tons and tons and tons of that. Soggy has basically an hour and 27-minute video, and an hour of it is just flat out proving manipulation and lies, and caused a lot of harm to my businesses. I mean, I've literally had people pull out millions of dollars and then tell me it was directly because of his video. And don't worry, I instantly was like, can you send that in writing? So, if I win a case or anything, I can directly point damages. No reason why. And so, I mean, it's just unfortunate. Like, I don't want to be put in this situation, but probably gonna have to. I mean, it's just. I mean, what do you do if someone's just spreading misinformation about you and just causing harm to your business and like getting it to the point where you might have to potentially fire people because it's costing you so much revenue? It's like, it's not fair to the people in my companies. You know what I mean? It's just sad. It's not a thing I take joy in, but
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yes.
They're not done drafting it up, but once they're done, more than likely, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's...
every law firm I've talked to, they're like, this would be the easiest win they've ever seen in their life. I mean, it's like crazy. I had one tell me, like, you could chop up all the evidence into like sue 3 separate times and win all 3 cases because you'd have enough for each. Like, one person I was talking to, he's won like 67 out of his last 70 cases, and he's like, this would be literally the easiest case I've ever done. Like, it's because there's just so much blatant, misinformation and lies spread. Like, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just go watch Sagi's video. Go look at his Twitter where he's redacted multiple ones of it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to be in this position.
Now, what do you think? Do you think that there could be any sense of regret from that? I mean, optically, once again, there's a lot of things working against you on a constant basis because you're the biggest person in the world on YouTube and social media, and you're just crammed down people's throats algorithmically. Like if you decide to sue this man, even if he deserves it or not, which is like obviously up to you.
Well, I just want the slander and disinformation to stop. It would be the bigger reason. But you're saying, when am I worried about how that would affect me PR wise?
Yeah, just like what do you think?
I mean, I'm right now. I'm getting canceled because I'm not suing him because they're saying, well, you know, Jimmy's not suing him, therefore there was truth, or Jimmy would be suing him. So at this point, I'm so big. It's kind of most scenarios are like either way. Like there's a vast negative for me. You know, people are like, "Oh, he's not going to sue because he's worried about Discovery." No, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Why do I care? I'm here. This is Discovery. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. This is not Discovery.
No matter what I do at this point, like there's just a large group of people that are just gonna be unhappy, and that's just like a reality I have to be okay with, to be honest. As long as I agree with what I'm doing and I believe in what I'm doing, I mean that's all I really can do at this point.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, you know, it's probably a minority. Well, it's definitely a minority of people just in general who actually care about this type of shit. But like, you know, the silencing critics, for example, something very similar has happened. Well, not that similar, but something is happening to CoffeeZilla, who we'll talk about here in a minute as well. He's being sued, and that just, you know, to someone like me, I care about like rationality and understanding and people being big and, you know,
100%. And I would just say, go watch the Sagi video.
Yeah.
Look at all the blatant manipulation and lies. And this isn't me trying to silence them. This is me trying to like,
and
this is like borderline. I owe it to my employees. Because like, I can't look at someone in the eyes and go, sorry, you're getting laid off because he decided to keep spreading misinformation about us. You know, go complain to Dogpack.
I understand. It's like, there's a
this is bigger than me. I have a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of kids that, you know, work or are under, you know, the people I employ that work for me. Like, it's not just me. Like, I can't. Of
course.
So.
And it's also, you know, just to finish what I was going to say, it is not silencing a critic. It is preventing the spread of misinformation, proven misinformation.
Exactly.
So I think being able to make that distinction, though, is very important. And that's something to consider. Is like how do you stop the misinformation, the slander, but also don't prevent people from caring about things ethically going forward and feeling willing to criticize someone like you, even though obviously this situation, it appears quite clear cut that this is misinformation, and truth is obviously the most important thing, but also
right. Yeah, I just want to make a point. Oompa's not here to like have a debate. It's exactly what Katie just said, Kitty Peter. It's pretty clear Oompa's not going to push back. Yeah, he just wants to ask the question. Then we're here to digest the response and whatnot, make our own assessment.
There's like a sort of a slippery slope of silencing critics and censorship and all this crazy stuff. And freedom of speech is so important, but obviously lies and slander are not protected by the freedom of speech. So it's just a big giant optical pill to swallow and consider, I feel like.
Agreed.
And I would be really interested to see your thoughts going forward, you know, in your decisions that you decide to make. I would love to stay in the loop on that because, you know, in the very beginning, I thought Soggy had good intentions.
Or Dog.
Dogpack. Exactly, yeah. Soggy does have good intentions, in my opinion. In the very beginning, and now things obviously are, he's turned this into sort of his thing.
Good intentions, even though even the very first video literally was what 90% lies.
It seemed.
You got manipulated.
Yeah,
but
of course.
That doesn't make it good intentions.
yeah. I'm just saying it seemed, and a lot of people also believe that.
Was it good intentions when he photoshopped a fake live stream and falsely accused me of not saying something I did say and falsely accused something? It was a good intentions when he put a king-size Feastables bar beside a regular-size Hershey's bar and didn't disclose that and then lied about us having more sugar than them. Was it? I mean, I could sit here and do this for the next 30 minutes.
I understand.
I think that's just a misconception that everyone has. It's like there's never good intentions.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just.
I watched that video and I was like, this is just lies. And everyone's like, oh my God. I was like, whoa.
We're just talking about optics, though.
Okay.
Is my point.
Optically.
Right. Optically.
People who fell for the optics. Yes.
But that's the lowest common denominator. That's what makes this entire world that we're in go round, is how people are reacting to things. You can't expect people to be to go out of their way to give you the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so it's super important to consider all that.
Yes.
But yeah, and obviously it's been proven now that he is Mr. and misinformation combined, right? It's for someone like me who actually cares about, like, I like to pretend that I care about the truth of things, and I don't want someone like you who has worked very hard objectively to get where you're at. I don't want you to be slandered or for people to lie about you, etc. But at the same time, you know, like, you are the one who's going to win. You are the one who will always win. You're the top, right? Like, you got this big thing, so you have the most responsibility, and you've got to be the best guy.
Cognizant of the implications it would have.
Yeah.
But it's
So-
also on the reverse side. It potentially caused people to not want to spread misinformation and not
Of course.
slander people. So there's also the positive side of that, where people
Yeah.
realize, like,
yeah.
disinformation has
It-
repercussions.
it's just something to consider.
Agreed.
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
take the decision lightly. Trust me.
Yeah. Okay. I believe that as well. But yeah, I think that's a yeah. You're the guy. I mean, if anybody could go and be as ethical as possible and do everything as perfectly as possible and actually take the moral high ground and not just pretend, it is you. You've got all the resources. You are the guy who can do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest. So, yeah. I think you will. I think you'll do all this stuff cool and right, and stop slander, misinformation, etc.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Disinformation. Big difference.
Yeah.
Misinformation
They're cousins.
It could be an accident. Disinformation, not an accident.
Let's see. So now to move on to CoffeeZilla, one of my favorite YouTubers. There was a comprehensive report published that painted a negative light on
I'm very
crypto
excited to hear about
dealings
this.
allegedly associated with you. To what extent were you involved in these crypto transactions, and how do you respond to CoffeeZilla's video on you detailing these allegations? I thought he gave you a benefit of the doubt in that video.
Yeah.
I think he's a very reasonable guy, to be honest. I think he's a very smart, reasonable guy who cares about, like, doing the right thing, which is pretty rare on YouTube. You know, how would you respond to Coffee's video?
Yeah. Coffee's video and the report. Well, so I'll start off with the report. I mean, most people probably haven't even read it, but that's what kind of spawned that whole thing was this. Did you see it? Like that? Yeah. So the gist of this crypto report that was, 1 second. Sorry. It's not my, the gist of this report was, Jimmy is too stupid to, like, make this kind of money. Therefore it must be insider trading. This is his wallet. You know, clearly there was insider trading because he never would have been able to make this kind of money. When in reality, which is what I told Coffee in that statement we gave him, it was managed by a fund. So I wasn't the one managing the wallet. You know, I've never had access to that wallet. I've never done the buying and selling on that wallet. There's a actual professional who's written books on crypto and lived and breathes crypto every second of the day managing it. So most of the allegations there, like, are just answered by, like, I am too stupid to do that. That's why a fund was managing it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, like Coffee said, like, if he literally said this in a video. If you like Jimmy, then you're like, yeah, he has answers for everything, and just checks out. And if you don't like Jimmy, then you're gonna go, you know, there's obviously wrongdoing here. But yeah, I mean, the honest truth is, like, I make videos. I'm running 7 businesses. I got a lot going on, and yeah, I invested in a crypto fund. They invested on my behalf, and I've never, like, had access to that wallet. They're the one doing the buying and selling. I mean, there are thousands of transactions on there. Like, I don't even have that kind of time. I'm sure you could probably even look at it and see, like, days where I was, like, maybe in solitary confinement, or, like, doing a video where I didn't even have access to a computer and there's trading.
True.
So for the conspiracy theorists that think I'm lying and using the fund as a cover up, like, I mean, there's got to be some way where you could just figure that out, like, or I was on a plane ride or something. But yeah, that's, like, the honest transparency is, you know, I was in a crypto fund and people thought I owned the wallet and it's called Wu-Tang Clan. Do you listen to Wu-Tang Clan?
I have, yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's another indicator.
Really?
I wouldn't have named it Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that in this follow-up stuff, they go over the fact that he said that he made purchases and sold things.
I had to educate myself on what Wu-Tang Clan was. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I think that's pretty interesting. Because, yeah, I mean, like, the whole, like, just YouTubers in any way being involved with crypto.
Because he's on the podcast with Logan talking about buying and selling Funko Pop or whatever they were, CryptoPunks. or something.
In any sense now is just like
Agreed, and that's why I literally put it in a fund, because I was like, I don't want to like fuck with this stuff and like be I just like I want someone who knows what they're doing to do it, to make sure things are above board. So that's literally why I did that, right? It's because I was like, if I'm buying and selling it, maybe I mess things up or do something dumb. So I was like, oh, this fund is led by someone who knows what he's doing. Here you go. That was literally the whole logic behind it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. On to some philanthropy and charitable work stuff.
Okay.
Soggy revealed delays in philanthropic projects such as the walking assistance video due to lost partnerships. He talked about that in his sort of disproving video. How do you intend on regaining trust between that brand that is literally a
Right, Anna. He was young and stupid when he bought them, but the point he just made is that he's never touched it, has never bought or sold on those wallets. So why would he talk about buying and selling those CryptoPunks when he didn't have access to the wallet? That's the point I'm making.
vehicle for philanthropy?
They said that they were going to cover it towards the end, so we'll take a look at that.
And how do you intend on regaining trust with the brands to put money to that to generate revenue to use for?
Yeah. I mean, I hope step one is literally this video. I mean, I hope I just need people to, just stop making videos titled "MrBeast fakes his philanthropy" with devil horns on and the thumbnail on my head, and just stating facts that aren't facts. Because as long as people are just spreading that disinformation, I mean, it's gonna be pretty hard to convince these people. But hopefully, once that dies down, I think it's just more of a time thing. Because it'd be nice, because the charity definitely needs that whole disinformation thing to kind of just stop. I spend $150,000 a month, so I pay for the employee's salary, so all the revenue from the videos goes straight towards doing our project. So I cover all this employees, a little bit of overhead, that kind of stuff. So that way, if we get a $400,000 brand deal plus the ad revenue from the video, we can spend all that money on buying shirts for homeless people or
Okay, I'm
whatever
gonna speed
it is.
up.
So I put that money in, but this past week when we also put the $150,000 in the account, I had to put another $1 million in to make up for 2 lost brand deals. So I'm now having to plow money in on top of the $150,000 a month I'm already plowing in, on top of filming the videos and doing all, and it's just it's just brutal, to be honest, because I can't do that forever. So because I'm already putting a lot of money into it, and so hopefully I don't know the answer. I don't have a crystal ball, but hopefully people just kind of stop slandering you. You can attack me, just don't attack the channel. It's literally a 501c3. That'd be nice, to be honest.
Yeah, and that one's weird to me because it's
I would unironically, this is a crazy sentence, but unironically, if instead of starting a YouTube channel, giving it to a 501c3 and filming videos and donating millions upon millions of dollars, all the revenue to a charity, and then using that to help people, if I just started any other channel, a channel where I just sit down and talk and kept all the money and just bought a $10 million mansion after 2 years, I think that universe where I just sit down and talk and buy a $10 million mansion and make a video on the mansion, that version of me would get maybe 1% of the shit that the version.
Completely.
Yeah. And so it's but that's not why I do it, because I actually would get less hate if I just stopped the philanthropy channel, but I just want to help people in school projects and I believe in what it's doing. But it is a little funny when you think about it.
I mean, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the devil horns thing. Dogpack actually cut a part out of his first video about you being the Antichrist. Did you see that?
I did.
What'd you think of that? I mean, you did get here a little fast.
He didn't say that he thought he was the Antichrist. He said people working at his company thought that.
You teleported.
The sad
in.
part is he was being serious in it. And,
Yeah, he cut that part out.
And that he showed that part publicly, and people still were like, okay, well, Kim's saying Jimmy's the Antichrist because one of his studios was a church, because there's not many warehouses in North Carolina, so I just bought a church and converted it into a warehouse. And he unironically was claiming I was the Antichrist in the same video as all these other accusations, but everyone's like, oh, that's the only crazy accusation. Everything else is true.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, now people are gonna be like, okay, maybe he's just, but didn't change anything.
I mean, yeah. Does it bother you? Did that bother you specifically, or is it just? I mean, because how do you even?
I'm not the Antichrist. I mean, where's the Bible? I'm not the Antichrist. There you go.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I kind of thought you might be. It is a weird one because I've heard people say that in my real life. They're like, his name is. We live out here in the sticks.
Yeah.
All right. And they're like, his name is Beast. It's got the 6,000. That's a 6. People, I think that's very funny, to be honest, and in an ironic way. I don't actually obviously believe that you are the Antichrist.
I'll be honest. I don't even know what that means. The Antichrist. I see those conspiracy theories occasionally, and I don't. If I was just I tweeted, yes, I'm the Antichrist. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you ever speak in Babylonian curses?
Only occasionally. Not I'm joking like this because that's gonna be the
People are
next.
gonna.
Me talking about the thumbnail with the horn.
Anyways, do you plan? So back to philanthropy, to things that actually matter and are actually important, because that's what the whole point of this video is, to try to be.
Oh, but we're being serious.
Yeah, it's serious.
Hey, lock in.
Yeah, it's a serious video, and we're trying to be honest.
It actually is serious.
It really is very serious.
Oh.
Do you plan to provide more transparency in how funds are used for your philanthropic efforts for Beast Philanthropy, your 501?
I've seen a lot of people ask about that too. So for the Beast Philanthropy, anyone can audit our books. We pass the audit every year, and we make those things public. Also, I actually called CoffeeZilla like 9 months ago, and I asked him to do a video where he like broke down, maybe it was 9 months ago, I don't know the exact month, but like break down Beast Philanthropy and try to find anything fraudulent in there, because we're super anal about every penny spent on the charity. So if anyone wants to do a deep dive on our charity, I would love that, because it'd be awesome. So people could see the links we go to on the main channel. I mean, we don't have much transparency, but I mean, it would just be depressing if I showed people, because a lot of our newer philanthropic videos we do on the main channel, like building 100 houses, wells, blind people, we don't do brand deals on them. So those videos lose a ton of money because we definitely don't make enough money off the ad revenue to pay for them. So every single time we do one of those videos on the main channel, it's usually -1 or -$2 million. So I mean, that's basically the transparency. When I do it on the main channel, they typically lose a fuckload of money. The charity, if anyone wants to like deep dive the books, that'd be awesome. I've been wanting some YouTuber to do that so we could show like how impressive what we do is.
Do you I've heard you repeatedly talk about how much money is lost or whatever. What makes like money? Like how do you?
Yeah,
how
Feastables. Self food. Obviously, it is profitable. But yeah, I mean the content is just we lose a lot of money on our content. I don't want to say it because but it's a disgusting amount. But so we offset it through things like Feastables and things like that. As a whole, we're gonna lose money this year, especially because of everything going on. Didn't really help.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the transparency. I mean, obviously, you can, like you mentioned, you can audit
The
charities. They're totally public. So
yeah, I would love to fly someone out. We've unironically been wanting to do this. We asked a couple YouTubers. They just were like, "Well, if you're asking us, then there's probably nothing there. So why would I do a video on it?"
Yeah.
So like, people only care when there's a smoking gun.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to get someone to do a video like deep dive.
Okay. Was anyone contesting that? Like, was anyone saying that they were laundering money through the philanthropy, or that they were like making money off of it? I'm purely good at position 5 in Dota. You mean pause 4?
Financials, because no, when I asked.
Vulnerable people for content. How do you feel about people who think that your videos unintentionally exploit vulnerable people for entertainment? So I think that's a very valid concern that people have, and I think this is one that's gonna be hard to kind of explain, because people are gonna just be like, well, just be a rich guy and donate all your money, and you have more money than me, therefore you have to donate it, or I can criticize you. Like that. It's a really hard argument to win, I guess. But
from the original years, I'm at 122.
If you had to explain that, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Honestly, that would be an easier one to take video by video, because obviously that is something I'm very cognizant of, and I don't want to take advantage of people or use people, and so. But I mean, one video I'm burying myself alive. The next video we're flying, like comparing it, the world's cheapest plane ticket, the most expensive. The other we're helping 1,000 people see. The other we're putting 100 people in a circle. They're just so different, right? The answer to that for helping 1,000 people see again would be completely different than the answer for when I put 100 people in a circle or whatever. So as a blanket one, I'm not 100% sure how to like just blanketly answer it. Besides, like that is something I'm very aware of, and like we try to pick people who don't really fit that bill, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It seems like a difficult line to walk, to be honest. I don't think. Yeah, it's a tough.
Like
tough
when we were doing the helping 1,000 people see again, like if someone's like, I don't want to be on camera, which this happened lots of times, we just be like, that's fine, you can still have the surgery, like so a lot of times we do that, especially in the ones where people are more less fortunate. We're very hyper cognizant of it, and we cut people out all the time, or we just don't even film. Like sometimes people we make them aware beforehand, but they'll just show up and then they'll get a little camera shy, and like anytime I pick up on that, I'm always like, hey, like if you don't want to be on camera, we will still do this, like it's perfectly fine. And they're always like, oh, then yeah, I'd prefer not to. And it's like, cool. And then we just step out and let them do their thing.
That's cool. Yeah, I think because that's one thing that's like a running joke, is like you have to be on camera, you have to be a part of it.
That's a part of why I like doing so many, because like if I do 1,000 surgeries, it's like I don't need all of them. You know what I mean? Like
that'd be a long video.
Exactly. I mean, we show like rapid fire so people can see proof that we did that many, but it's like if 100 of them or 200 of them don't want to be on camera, it's not a big deal.
Now, to the 1,000 video, 1,000 people with blindness video, there was a nonprofit that alleged it was.
Oh, that's a good segue.
Yeah, it was alleged that it was not paid.
Yeah.
And you eventually paid them 8 months later.
We've heard about this.
A, that just doesn't even seem logical. B, what makes it even less logical is we did 800 more eye surgeries off camera, and obviously, I'm over explaining things, but I have to because there are literal videos using this as proof that I'm evil and using this as proof that I don't care and using this as proof that I fake things, the horns. Yeah. So like, but when you think about it, we did 800 off camera. So if I was aware that of the paperwork trail, the mishap, and that we didn't pay those 30, why would I not just take 30 of the 800 we did off camera and swap it out for those and just, put the 30 that people are claiming we intentionally didn't pay for off camera? It's almost like I didn't know. Because if I was trying to be manipulative, I wouldn't have put him in the video because I had 800 other ones. You see what I'm saying? So everything about it just makes no sense. And then even the person, after we reached out, he deleted his video and he uploaded a video saying, oh, it's just a misunderstanding. But everyone just conveniently ignores that because it doesn't help their narrative. So
That is fun.
I mean, yeah, I don't really know what
Because
else.
it took months and it wouldn't have ever happened had they not gotten traction on the video. Like, you need to have a transparent form of communication with the people you're working with so they don't have to post a video and hope to God that it blows up. Like, if none of this drama was happening, would they have even seen it? Like, that's what I'm confused about.
Else to say, like, these are huge projects. Like, I'd love to see any of the people making videos on this. Well, actually, we did 1,800 afterwards. A little bit.
Mistakes with an operation, that's big.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen.
When I do, we fix them.
Yeah, and then say there's transparency there. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a non-issue.
I mean, you would think that, but plenty of thumbnails.
Like, the issue is, it would have been really nice if you just yeah, we should have made sure that something like that doesn't happen, or at least the people that we're in contact and working with are able to get a line of communication with us or the third party that they're supposed to be working through to have that conversation. But instead he's like, yeah, it's just misinformation. It's how people want to make me look bad, et cetera, et cetera. Brother, talk about improving the fuck up. Like, don't talk about people hating. I don't know. Maybe that's asking for too much. But I think that if you're going to work with organizations like this, it's probably pretty important that they get paid. So maybe having a line of communication so that they're just not, there's nothing that they hear for months. So they feel like they have to make a video and then get lucky that it gets enough attention that you guys see it and then reach out to them and have that communication. I think if you had talked about that, I'd feel less bad about how you just responded to it. Like, does that make sense? Like, am I just fucking around here? I don't know. That doesn't sit right. I don't like his response.
It took Team C's 3 years to remove the equivalent of 10 hours worth of trash being dumped into the ocean every day. And a lot of people have criticized the campaign as being ineffective.
Yeah, we fucked up. We fucked up, my boy. And you know what? All of my haters just try to use that to hate on me more. I didn't mean nothing by it. I just kind of nonprofit didn't get paid.
And that you should have been doing something else instead of Team C's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how do you respond to that?
Yeah. So first off, because I get this a ton with Team
Yeah.
C's. Like, this isn't even a new thing. Ever since we did it, people constantly bring this up. So I just also, to the people who allege that criticism, because obviously you're just trying to be the mouthpiece for the internet. I assume you don't believe this, and you can probably already guess what I'm going to say. But to the people who I see this every single day on Twitter and Reddit, first off, let's just contextualize what we're talking about. We're saying only 34 million pounds of trash was removed out of the ocean. We're talking multiple Empire State Buildings worth of just trash, if you piled it up, is out of the ocean. And we're acting like that's not a crazy thing if you just look at it in absolute terms. 34 million.
If we're talking about in a global scale, that is pretty damn close to nothing. Matter of fact, what he's talking about gets put back into the ocean by people like Coca-Cola in a day. Or I can't remember the exact, I made a video about it. This is truly negligible if you're talking about global scale. I don't know. That's kind of yes, it is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's more trash than I will ever do in my life. But if you want to talk about a global scale, you're trying to contextualize it, or at least you're trying to lead onto, it is nothing. That's the issue. And you partnered with Coke, of all people, one of the largest producer of it.
Not 34,000 million pounds. You know how crazy that is? And there's a couple things I want to say on this, because I find it funny. It's when I don't even know where I got this analogy from. When a firefighter, stops a building from burning down, you don't go, well, 100,000 buildings burned down today. You only stop one. What are you doing?
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's I don't even know where that's a good analogy. That just popped in my head.
That's good.
B, what was I actually gonna say? Oh, the whole point though of Team C's, which we've said this multiple times publicly, same thing with Mark Rober, was to inspire millions of people around the world to be more conscious of these things and to just care and be more aware, right? Over 1,000 creators made videos on Team C's talking about the environment. I made a video that I believe has 100 million views. Mark Rober, all these other big creators.
Did the pollution get better because of all these content creators coming out and telling, us fucking little silly billies out here in the real world, to pick up trash? Like, do we actually know? Did trash get better because of us, or is it still just as bad as it was because we're not the even close to the lead producers of global pollution? I can't imagine that it did. I'd be very interested to see if it did. I mean, that'd be great. I don't know, truly, but in my head, it's not us. Like, it is the corporations that have the carbon footprint, like, to a much higher degree than we do.
Creators and all these people that look up to these creators saw a video of these creators talking positively about the environment, and like my thing I would say to them is like, when people are like, oh, it only removed like half a day's worth of trash that's put into the ocean.
Yeah.
How do you quantify the impact of those millions of people who got inspired to be more cognizant of these things and extrapolate that over the next
Global statistics that we can look to that are recorded every year?
decade? You know what I mean? Like, no one seems to factor that in because it doesn't.
Are you implying that your efforts are going to cause millions of people to, like, in any way, shape, or form, realistically reduce the global population? Like, that would imply that all of these people collectively could be able to do what he did with the funds that he did, except they don't have those funds. They just are knowing that the world will be a better place if they clean it up a bit better. Like,
fit the agenda. I stand by Team C's. I think it was a phenomenal project. I think it did a lot of good. And I would challenge anyone else to try to remove 34. I mean, it wasn't me. It was the whole YouTube community. But like, if you have a better solution, go do it. But to me, 34 million pounds of trash out of the ocean, plus, inspiring millions of people to be more cognizant of it, I think it's a win. So I'm actually glad I got to say this here, because that is just something that I just feel like it's absurd, to be honest.
Yeah. Another topic in the same vein is the 100 Wells in Africa project.
Yeah.
In that video, part of the criticism for that video is that a few of the wells that you built were showed in different shots, or the same wells were showed in different shots.
Yeah.
That would imply to some people that you may not have built.
Like, don't get me wrong, I recycle. Like, I'm not saying give up on throwing away trash and putting things in the right receptacle and picking up trash when you see it out in the world. Like, you're going to do so much more in terms of taking care of pollution in your small community than you ever will in the grand scheme of things. Because, like, we are truly, like, nothing. Like, I don't...
Built all 100.
Yeah.
Did you build
What happened?
different shots? Or the same criticism for that video is that a few of the wells that you built were showed in different shots, or the same wells were showed in different shots.
Yeah.
That would imply to some people that you may not have built all 100.
Yeah.
Did you build 100 wells in Africa?
Yes. So you already know what I'm going to say. I mean, I would loop this in with the same thing as the hospital thing. Seems like I need to have someone who like QCs things before we upload it more hardcore. I need someone who literally goes frame by frame. Like, we finish a video and then they spend like 3 days just going frame by frame.
I just couldn't be fucking bothered in our philanthropy, like in our charity video, to make sure they were all unique wells. Couldn't be fucking bothered.
Mess ups. Yeah, I think like 1 or 2 of the wells we accidentally showed this like same well as different numbers. But once again, like I said with the blind thing, like, why would I spend 98% of the money and then just fake 2 wells, like, and destroy the entire integrity to save like 2%?
I do agree, though, that clearly he must have done 100 wells if they only edited 2 of them. But, like, come on. Like, it's kind of crazy that these, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being harsh. I think that could be more so chalked up to an editing mistake. Like, realistically. I don't know if that's an agreeable opinion, but I do think of that. Like, especially if it was only 2. Yeah, realistically, it makes sense. I don't necessarily agree with the hospital one, but I mean, yes, if it's 2 wells, I can take that much more as like a genuinely an editing mistake, or like the editors chose to do that because they're like, no one's gonna notice. I think that's fair for that specific situation.
I'm glad we're hitting these though, so I can. Anyone who made those videos, like saying the philanthropy's fake, like that's the one that bothers.
I'm not giving MrBeast the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving the logic and the argument and the situation itself benefit of the doubt, because we can look at that with logic and make an assessment based on the situation. He just happens to be a part of it. I don't want to let's not always tie the fact that it's MrBeast into the situation that happened, because realistically, there are going to be points that he's going to make that have a legitimate backing to them. And I said this at the beginning of the stream. Let's not stray from that. Let's not let our opinions on it already taint our perception of it. And let's just think about this logically, process it with our critical thinking skills, right?
To me the most because we go so above and beyond. Like, honestly, if you could just delete them, like that'd be great. So, like, it's so bad, man. Like, because it makes charities not want to work with us, and it makes it just really like has made doing the projects we want to do like a lot more difficult, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're hitting these.
Aside from it being just difficult, does it make how? I've asked you how it makes you feel. You said it doesn't feel good with regard to that. Like this charity thing, it's got to feel good to do this.
Yeah.
And you're surrounded by people who I'm assuming are enjoying the work that they're doing. I know a guy, fellow Darren, is involved in the philanthropy, or at least was. I'm not sure if he's still around, but there's some good people obviously involved in this. Like, how does it make you feel after all these allegations that are coming out that you can't really do this anymore?
Well, we can still do it. It's just infinitely harder. I mean, we're never gonna stop. But yeah, it's
there's a time limit on it. It's finite.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that's why I'm here. Like one of the reasons why I'm here. And it doesn't feel good, but it's charity. Like,
I'm sorry. If you guys care, I can pause it, but I don't think this is useful. It's just like, oh, it must feel bad that you can't do your philanthropy as well because you're not making enough money to justify giving it to this. But
people we help like the projects we do.
We know what he's gonna say with this.
Charity, you know what I mean? Like think of the Wells Project. We worked on that for the course of a year, and then they showed their family. So they, what do I say? I'm like, it's brutal, to be honest. And I'm always filming videos, but we have certain teams dedicated to certain videos, and that was your life. And then,
how much charity do you do off camera, if you don't mind me asking? Also, some people say that filming these types of things sort of calls the authenticity or the intentions into question. If you're filming charity, like, is it real? If a bear should.
It's a great question.
It's one of those old adages. Yeah. What do you do off camera? What do you feel about that? Because that's a big criticism that a lot of people have had on YouTubers for a very long time.
It's a big criticism I get, which is funny because if I do something off camera, how do you know about it? So all the people who tweet all the time or whatever go, you wouldn't do anything unless it's on camera. He only does it because it's on camera. How do you know?
Yeah.
Literally, how do you know? I mean, and does it defeat the purpose if I tell you right now? I mean, I will, just because now everyone assumes the worst. So, but it's just that one's always been a crazy one to me every time I've seen those go viral. But I mean, now it sounds like weird to just list them off because it's feels like I'm bragging. But I mean, the first one that pops to my head is the Mark person that we gave $1 million that actually got slandered in a lot of this controversy. I knew that a lot of people who come into that kind of money typically go bankrupt. So I gave him a couple $1,000s a month every month for 4 or 5 years after that video. Never mentioned it publicly, just to help us transition to his new lifestyle.
Right.
That was an easy one. I mean, we did 800 surgeries off camera for blind. Never mentioned that. I'm bringing it up now because the controversy is making me. It's funny because even things like Feastables, we do a lot to ethically source it, and I spent an entire week.
So you're not donating off camera to charity? I mean, these are good things, don't get me wrong, but he's not. I think we know the question, but okay.
Week in Ghana, early this year, just going working on the farms for Feastables, on the cocoa farms, and then cutting the cacao and fermenting it, the QC, working alongside the farmers, the entire supply chain to make sure it's ethically sourced. I never posted that anywhere. Also,
this was a point that I was very wrong about, was the ethically sourced chocolate, why they had removed that. I just want to point that out. That was a good rebuttal by Sagi.
I don't think I did. I don't remember. I mean, I could go on and on, but it just feels a little weird to brag about these things. But yeah, I mean, it's just not true.
You're not bragging. You're just talking about it.
Me and my mom, that's part of how we bond, is we do things and projects and things she's passionate about and stuff like that off camera. I was going to say, oh, you only do it because it's on camera.
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah, that's yeah. If it doesn't, if people don't know it exists, obviously they're not gonna know that it fucking exists.
Just defeat the purpose. This is gonna say that, yeah.
People on the internet allege that you use philanthropy as a shield against criticism.
Yeah.
And
case, especially, I feel like towards this, it was different years ago, but these last 2 years, do you remember when I uploaded the Wells video, the blind video? Do you remember how people lost their minds and got really mad? Do you remember that? Not positive. It was super negative earlier. I actually think I would get less hate if I didn't do philanthropy. So I actually think it's having the inverse effect, at least in the last 2 years. People hate me more because I do good. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's too crazy of a statement. I'm not trying to sound like a victim here or anything. So maybe that's too crazy of a statement, but it's just something I'm noticing. I'll do a video, whatever, buried by stuff alive. No, people no one criticizes it. It's like, oh, this is a good video, they'll watch it. And then I'll do a video where I build 100 houses. Everyone loses their mind, you know, and give it to homeless people. And Twitter erupts. And so using philanthropy as a shield, if I made the world's largest firework, I would not trend on Twitter. And I do the videos because they're just fun. I just find it just makes life more fun. But yeah, I mean, if I was actually didn't want to get hate, I would stop helping.
Because it's like a fair, yeah, it's weird because it's like
I don't know.
Your philanthropy videos, they really are a huge point of contention on Twitter. And people, you said that if you spent $5 million building a firework, people wouldn't really even get mad. When you did the fucking Squid Games thing, they still were mad at that. They were like, why didn't you give that to, like, you're always going to be making a lot of people
on a video, watch this video, you know what I mean? So it's just like, because of the size.
Point that I've tried to sort of clarify is like, you're the guy. You're the guy, right? You're the guy. You have the highest expectations from everybody. And like people expect you to have extremely high expectations of yourself.
And I don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, of course. So on to Feastables, my favorite chocolate.
It's just a simple bar of chocolate that happens to not be very good.
When you guys
I mean, you live in America. There's not much competition here.
yeah. With all the allegations that have come into people's view over the last few months, people noticed that on the Feastables website, it originally said that especially at scale, this to mean for slave labor.
And saw those videos claiming I used slave labor. What's funny is any of those creators, I'm just gonna say it, you could have just literally messaged me and I could have given you the facts. But like, I actually, before I go into how we do ethically source our cocoa, and these are just flat out lies, I even there's so many arcs of like allegations, that allegation arc, I even put out an Instagram story about how we ethically source our cocoa. And
so it wasn't necessarily about like how talented the person. Sorry, I'm responding to a comment. Why would Pegasus recommend IPA? It's more about he platformed Dogpack. Like this is gonna be one of those, because he went to Pegasus to try to get to like the epicenter of the people that dislike MrBeast through all this drama. So he's trying to get to one of those core spots, and I think Oompa was probably one of the other very big people that I'd covered and like even interviewed Dogpack multiple times.
We even did a press release, and like I've like literally shared these things, and people still were claiming we used slave labor and just ignored it and everything. But is it fine if I just give a little bit of a longer answer on this, so people truly, because I want to make sure people actually understand how ridiculous this claim is.
Yeah, I think it's also very important as well.
This is actually probably one of the most serious allegations.
Saying that Feastables is bad, or even more,
just turn around and use slaves. There's a lot of unethical stuff in the sourcing of cocoa, because big chocolate just wants to buy cocoa as cheap as possible. Majority of the world's cocoa comes from, again, I'm gonna really lay this out. I have lived and breathed this. I've visited the farms. I personally have put over 1,000 hours of my own time into this. And so majority of the world's cocoa comes from West Africa. Feastables early on, we sourced from Peru, which Peru doesn't have ethical problems. But after we started getting bigger, all roads lead to you have to source from West Africa, because that's just where most of the world's cocoa is grown. And that's where things are the worst and the most unethical. So when we were switching our supply chain to West Africa as we were getting bigger, the company that is the gold standard, that has been living and breathing this for the last 15 years, is Tony's Chocolonely. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. They are nuts about this stuff. Like they've done all the research. They live and breathe it, like on how to eliminate child labor, how to best support the farmers, how to everything you can think of, which I'm about to go in depth on. And so I was like, hey, I need to talk to these guys. These guys know what they're doing. And so I spent a lot of time with them, and we actually formed a joint partnership with where we sourced through Tony's Open Chain with Feastables and Tony's Open Chain when we were moving over there. And this has been a thing well before the controversy. Before anyone says, "Oh,
they're covering more of the crypto at the end." They did cover the crypto, but it did not.
It's only because the controversy
cover everything.
Thing before the controversy. And basically, 100% of Feastables cocoa is fair trade certified, which is expensive. It's basically the most expensive certification you can have.
So again, I agree. Like, we fucked up with the chocolate thing. I think he genuinely has a very good rebuttal for this. It's a good point. Are you guys cool with me skipping through it? Because I agree with him. I'm not trying to ignore the good points he's making. I think he is making a good point. I think this is probably like his best rebuttal in the entire video so far. Cool.
Have on it, which I just said my living income revenue delete your videos, because you were literally spreading So people are like claiming we unethically source our cocoa, and I'm ready to lay this out because everyone who said I use slave labor and I don't care, I hope you delete your videos because you were literally spreading severe disinformation. So for us, one of the main drivers of child labor and cocoa is poverty. Like they don't make enough money. So you can't just go to a farmer and say don't use child labor, because if they can't afford to pay a grown up, then you're telling them, hey, go starve. They have to make money. So one of the ways you can eliminate child labor is you have to pay a living income. So there's a thing called living income reference price where they look at, and tell me if I need to dumb it down or whatever, I don't know. But we read and interview the families, and it's about part of solving child labor is making sure the farmers make more money. Are super cognizant of our supply chain. Did it today for
definitely, as well as that's like they're huge in that world, and there's like some unaccredited sources that claim that they're not.
Well, I wouldn't say no.
Sea of Thieves, season 14.
Are you going to sue? And there was a video that like the actual misinformation stuff that bothers me outside of YouTube drama nonsense.
I mean, like they're just I can't control these things. You know what I mean?
Where is it?
Screen, they said there's no evidence or any traces of slave labor found instead of blanket thing. But
there we go.
My videos aren't dollars and all. I mean, this is the first people I hit up and was
happened to get a moldy lunchly, and a couple other creators got moldy lunchlies.
Interesting.
And then that began the claims sprouted out of that.
Yep.
That lunchly had been recalled due to those problems, due to the mold problems.
Yes.
Moldy cheese. How do you plead?
Yes. How do I plead? What am I on trial? Well, there was no recall. I mean, that's been said, which again, it's like, it's so annoying. It's the disinformation, man, because that makes it seem like there's an actual serious problem. Oh, we're recalling lunchlies, and there's a sign that, I think Logan even did a video, if you want to throw up, where he like went to the store and that just wasn't real. That like someone put on like a door that said lunchly has been recalled when the shelves are empty by the FDA, which was just a made up thing. On the mold thing, here's the thing. We, every single lunchly with
okay, realistically, if you were getting fucked over in these kinds of ways, like your company gets alleged that you are using slave labor, why wouldn't you be upset about that? Like, why wouldn't you ask people to delete their videos about it? Sorry, I understand the anger with that.
Is USDA inspected? There is no mold when it leaves our factory. Like, we have the highest QC standards imaginable. Like, what do we have? Why would we ship that out? Like, that doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? And we obviously have the best experts in the world.
Yeah, why would we ship that out? Why would any company ship out moldy product? That's.
I mean, even once these things came out, we brought even more. They're something that's very similar, specific brand. I don't know, other brands, competitors. And Google their name and put the word mold behind it. You'll see thousands upon thousands of examples. And that, I think, is a key context a lot of people leave out in this because they're acting like this is just a thing with us. Once it leaves your factory, a truck that's delivering it could technically take a sharp turn in a box fall and puncture the seal. Or honestly, even something as dumb as like when it's put on the shelves at the store, like I can't stop someone from walking to Walmart and grabbing a lunchly, going to the potato chip aisle, putting it there, and then like a day later, an employee going, that doesn't belong there, and put it back. And like, I mean, obviously they shouldn't do that. They should throw it away. Of course. But like, so there's no mold when it leaves their factories because that's just stupid. Why would we ever let that happen? But after that point, there are variables that we just can't control. And that's why every single product in that section, Google today put mold behind it. It just occasionally happens. I mean, but we're talking like, it's moving over 1 million units a week right now. And I'm seeing like maybe a couple examples here and there. So it's like, it's really, they would have you convinced this is like, trace most of those cases, it'd be things like, oh, someone just like, I mean, it could even be like someone's refrigerator cut out, or they like, when they put it in their car, they like threw it in their car. And then like, you know what I mean? Like they're just, I can't control these things. You know what I mean?
I think what really happened is Lunchly was rushed way too fast and they wanted to make as much money in a short time period for the school period and didn't focus on the right packaging. But we don't know that, right? Like they could have been doing this and prepping this and been in talks about this for months before it actually ended up getting released. Like we have no idea how quickly they did it. One of the problems with Feastables is that their original ingredients were shorter than the new one, making the new one less healthy. That is a great point that, again, did not get addressed.
Yeah, I mean, mitigation of mold and shit like that's difficult. You have to, there's a process.
But there isn't. We literally, everything with cheese and meat that we
That's totally fair, Zab. I'm just, responding to it.
use is USDA inspected and held to such a concern, like you wouldn't even understand. It's like, so it's not a thing until after it leaves. But I mean, when you buy the product, like
Yeah, there are a lot of points that they get missed, that are missed, yeah.
It's...
brand and then mold. Logan Paul had a moment on Twitter where he basically did that exact same thing, but the reverse logic, and said that other brand led, and then compared that with Lunchly. But I think it's important to state the same thing you're saying about mold. It's possible that someone could toss something there's a hole in the package. It's important to also know and it's
yes. And if there's anyone who I have people who have done this their entire lives running this stuff. But if there's anyone who thinks like anything they can educate me on or we're missing, like I'm down.
I find manufacturer here in
Oh,
this town.
can I see it before I leave?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, like the actual misinformation stuff that bothers me outside of YouTube drama nonsense, because it's hard to like feel like it's, I don't know. It's a strange world being in YouTube just in general. I know you're very well aware of that, but
That's an understatement.
yeah. But like seeing somebody like Logan Paul with so much influence and like you guys promoting Lunchly and like somebody like Logan Paul acting as if you can find lead, like traceable amounts of lead in a metal detector. Like me, I find that to be very important. You know, given which you didn't make the claim that there's has lead in it, lead that they measure for it.
League than me. I'm
Use the word ignorant. It is really ignorant. There will be recalls. No matter, it's important to like hold the approaching things ethics better.
The next SKU, or why would I say? It's not everyone listening. What's a different word for SKU? They might not know what that means. Next
iteration.
The next one.
Flavor.
Flavor. I guess if that's what you'd call me. Like we're just getting started. We obviously saw the feedback, and I'll tell you off camera. But it's I think all the criticism and things we obviously are seeing it, and like think everything can be improved. And maybe like grilled chicken side is.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. The day that I filmed that video, I got a box of Lunchly sent to my house, as if it was like some kind of sign. Or, like I don't know. Yeah, crazy. It's nothing. It leaps and bounds.
I'm very excited for it.
With it, this is something that I think a lot of people probably feel like is really important. It is. You know, so that in mind, this is one of the most important things to me. I would love to hear the full truth response from you in regard to this.
Yeah, and I'm excited to put it out there because I think what people are envisioning is completely different than what actually happened. Yes, I did hire him, but for the context around it,
we're at 158.14.
So that in mind, that this from you in regard
is completely different than what actually happened. Yes, I did hire him, but for the context around it, I hired him when I was 19, so I was a teenager. And this is
this is about Delaware.
Into what we were talking before. This is back when it was just a couple of my friends from high school, my mom.
I'm gonna slow this down.
My videos were getting bigger. I needed more help, and so I walked in because I'm dumb. Like I probably should have gone on some site and hired people who had production experience. But
thank you for
instead
letting me know
I walked
captions
into
were
my local
available.
Best Buy, and I just hired multiple people. Obviously, when I was a teenager, I didn't know what a background check was, and I just hired a couple people there that wanted to help me make videos. One of them was the person named Delaware. And
I know there's a response that you're not going to know what a background check is, but I didn't think that there was a background check until I had one at a job. And from what Jimmy's explained, I don't know if he had a job before this. I think he just started YouTube, which is a fair point. I just don't think I'm interested in what he's going to say about Jake the Viking.
No, I did not know he was a registered sex offender. There's a rumor that's gone around that said that he sat me and my mom down and told us. Obviously, I don't remember that happening. And when I read that tweet, the first thing I did was I called my mom and I was like, hey, this is like 7 or 8 years ago. Just put this in context. 7 or 8 years ago, not indicative of my company today, but I was like, did this happen? Because someone's claiming this happened. My mom said, I would have literally quit or honestly probably shut the business down before I ever let my teenage son hire a registered sex offender knowingly, which I have a very protective mom. So, I mean, even if you don't believe me, you should at least believe that I feel like it's not absurd.
Why? I'm sorry. Why would your mom admit to that? Like, why would I don't? That's not a good defense. I get not remembering it. Like, I'm not going to blame you. I don't say put this on your mom. That I'm confused.
That my mom wouldn't have knowingly let her teenage son hire a registered sex offender. Like, that just doesn't even. Like, in what world does that?
Realistically, that is also a good point. Like, logically, yes, that is a fair point. Why would your mom do that? But I think that that's just kind of like I feel like I'm too stupid to be saying this, but like ethos, pathos, logos, like, duh, why would Jake say that? That's what I'm confused about.
That even makes sense.
It's
like that just, I mean, that's just not even rooted in reality. So, but yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing that happened. Not that this, I take accountability. Yes, if I could go back in time, I would tell teenage me, hey, you're supposed to do background checks. 19-year-old me, he stared at retention charts all day. He obsessed over YouTube videos. He didn't know anything about running a business. Like, I can't fully put myself in the mind of me 7 years ago, but I'm sure teenage me also thought like, hey, Best Buy is worth tens of billions of dollars in a big corporation. Like, they also didn't do background checks. And like, I probably thought like, oh, I'm hiring from this big business. It's probably fine. You know what I mean? Or maybe I didn't put much thought into it because I was just making videos. But regardless, we do background checks now, and we do these things. I've been doing it for a long time. and it's just an unfortunate thing. But I just for context though, just to give to a lot of people listening, like, or watching, I called after that stuff came out too, because I was just curious. I called like, I don't know the exact number, maybe like 24 YouTubers, and I asked them like, do you guys do background checks? And I think like a dozen of those YouTubers have like more than 10 employees, and literally only 2 of the like 24 YouTubers I called do them. You know, like 6 of them were like, I don't even know how to do a background check. You know what I mean? And they all had employees. So like,
That's not an excuse. Like, that's not, nobody else does it. Like, everybody texts and drives. Like, fucking, why shouldn't I?
do not that I'm not trying to deflect anything or whatever. I'm just trying to give context. Like, you know,
Context is most people don't do this. I mean, look, I get not doing it back then. That is, like, if this, I'm just, you know, charitable take, if he's going off this and saying he was young and stupid, okay, he's young and stupid. There is no reason to bring up other YouTubers making the same fucking mistake, because they shouldn't be. Like, there's a difference between having like 10 employees and going and like and just hiring your close friends versus you walked into a Best Buy and just hired people on the spot. Again, you were young, you fucked up, but to compare this to other YouTubers who have like more than 10 employees, I could have a 20 employee business right now and they would all be friends and family that I know haven't done that shit. Like,
it's like, it is a little much to just
feels
think
weird.
that 19-year-old me was just supposed to know that and have this knowledge, and it's unfortunate. And like I said,
Yeah. And to be fair, I keep saying that you're the guy. Back then, you weren't the guy.
I was not the guy.
So that's
I was
that's an
it was like
excuse. Yeah, it's a
calling
valid
what I
excuse.
had back then a company was would be
Yeah.
generous.
That was the boy. You were the boy.
that was the that was the boy. And but yeah, now I have hundreds of employees. We obviously have rigorous standards for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and to speak on that as well, we do background checks for everyone who works at our
Audiosat.
We have 2 a video game development company and a candy company. Obviously, both
okay.
background checks. But my YouTube channel, I think I've hired 2 people from Indeed. Both of them have been given background checks, and everybody right as well. I'm not sure if so you plan on putting procedures in place to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Was there anything? So what? And the iPad.
Yeah, so you're gonna make sure it doesn't happen again.
Like, the Weddle where Weddle struggled with was the lights being on, and he mentioned that in the videos with. Let me just gather my thoughts on this one. How do I want to say? I think the best way to talk about this is to also talk about how we did similar videos with other people, because one of the things is like multiple people can do the same thing and experience it differently. That's what's a little tricky about these like contestant-based videos. I can never know 100% how something's going to affect someone, right? So similar to the Weddle video, I just want to lay the foundation before we go in specifically to that. Similar to that,
also, how does everyone else know? Like, why is there so much talk about everyone else knowing that he was an RSO at that time? That's also a great point.
Also did a video where we put 2. Did you see the video where we put 2 people in a room, Bailey and Susie, 100 days trapped together? So one thing that Weddle struggled with was the lights being on, and he mentioned that in the video. But Bailey and Susie, on day 20 of 100 Day Trapped Together, I offered to turn the lights off for part of their prize pool, and they said no. And like the lights wasn't, I mean, I'm sure it was difficult, but it wasn't like that big of a difficulty for them. And so it's like something for them that's not that big of a difficulty for other people can be, you know, challenging and hard. And like what I'm trying to say is you never know how someone's going to react to something.
Well, they were also together, and Jake was on his own, and he had a response as to why you guys wouldn't he asked for the lights to be turned off repeatedly.
Right? It's impossible to fully predict. And so
and you offered to turn the lights off on that situation, which was recorded after you had worked with Jake Weddle.
That's one of these variables of these challenges, which is why we give the...
Again, I'm not saying, just for the record, I'm not saying like, I'm just responding to the points he's making. Like, I could be wrong on my side of thing too. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you're comparing a bit of apples to oranges. Like, yes, people react to things differently, absolutely, but they have each other. They could like cover their faces. They did have issues with lights sometimes. But they would put pillows over their heads to like try to sleep with the lights off. And then he offered, I don't know.
We give people the ability to quit, you know what I mean? Or to leave at any point. And so in his video, you know, he went 11 days, won $110,000. Right? I believe it was 11 days. Yeah. Yes. And then he decided to quit on that day. And, you know, he mentions this in his video, like around day 11 or 12. I don't know what the day is off the top of my head, but he was struggling. And so we did turn off the lights. We sent a psychiatrist in there to check in on him. And we were like, yeah, he's not doing too well, and we ended the challenge and we paid him. Didn't go long enough where we got a video, so we didn't end up uploading it. But I think the big thing is just that's why we allow people to leave these challenges. Like my goal when doing these obviously isn't to like, you know, break people mentally or push them past their limits. It's just
So why'd you give him a choice between walking a marathon barefoot or Rubik's? Like, I don't know. I hope he covers
they
that.
can challenge themselves and do something interesting or cool, and then when they've had it, like, leave. You know what I mean? So I guess that's kind of how I would describe it. Does that, I mean, what are your thoughts on what I'm saying?
I think that makes sense. It's important to note that it's also it's voluntary.
It's a voluntary challenge. You can leave
people
at any point.
paid exponential amounts of money.
Yeah.
And you know, after all that stuff came out, and he sort of made the claims of how he was mistreated, etc. You reached out to him after the fact as well.
Yeah. I mean, now that I didn't want to bring that kind of stuff up, but yeah, also off camera after he made that video, I reached out and was like, hey man, like obviously we weren't trying to cause you any, you know, mental stress with that video or anything, and is there any way I can help? And I ended up, you know, he seemed like he really needed some financial help, so I ended up sending him $50,000 completely off camera or anything. I mean, he talked about it publicly so people know, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure he was good.
Oh, wow. You took money from MrBeast after all that stuff you said? Yeah, this money, this $50,000? Well, first of all, you're going to tax it. So let's say it's more like $30,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. That's good. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's to me that one's interesting because it's just a sort of voluntary challenge, and it's difficult to it's a very YouTube thing, right? It's a very YouTube thing, and the comparison of that to like war crimes, fairly tone deaf.
Yeah,
to compare it, like
yeah.
that's a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can move on from that, to be honest. There was litigation found against you surrounding these games, your show on Amazon, in regard to unsafe workplace conditions, and a bunch of talk of
Interesting.
You know,
we're getting some juicy
files
bits.
and videos and images and everything being sent to documentaries and all this shit coming out in regard to the Beast Game show on Amazon. Yeah. What is the litigation that
well,
found against you?
You know how litigation is. Obviously, I'm not allowed to talk about it, which is a little. There's a lot of things I want to say here, so this is good. Trying to think specifically on the lawsuit that. So for context, so people have 5 anonymous Beast Game employees, or not employees, 5 anonymous Beast Game contestants submitted a lawsuit, and they sent it to the press, but conveniently all the actual claims are redacted, blacked out, so you can't actually see it. And I'm not allowed to disclose what's behind those black lines. But, Beast Games, we had 1,000 people. We were doing big stuff. And just like with my normal videos, I'm not trying to say, everything went great. One thing that happened when we were filming one part of Beast Games is, you remember CrowdStrike? That was pretty brutal. We had the most contestants of any game show in history together. That was weirdly, God hates me, during the CrowdStrike accident. And so as we're, eliminating hundreds of people and trying to get them home, airports all across America are down, hotel room keys aren't working, and that created a lot of confusion, and that caused a lot of problems in our systems, and that was pretty brutal. And they're I'm not trying to just disavow everything,
How come people didn't get medicine?
I mean, there was one woman who when we were filming, we had obviously tons of feminine care products and stuff like that, but there was one woman who was allergic to the feminine care products, and we didn't have allergen-free ones like tampons and pads. And she told someone, I don't know who she told, I haven't been able to find it, but I mean, I believe that she did, that she was allergic, and they didn't obviously do the logical thing, which is tell us or just drive to the local Walmart and buy some and give it to her. And so she wasn't able to get, feminine care products in a reasonable amount of time, which is unacceptable. And so I learned a lot of little things like that, but I think in general, a lot of it has just been blown out of proportion. People have claimed we didn't use unions because I didn't want to pay people fair money, when that was just a flat out lie. We did use unions, and that there are dozens of broken bones, and which is crazy to think that I'd be 10 people broke their bones, let's keep filming. You know what I mean? That doesn't even make sense. After that claim came out, we literally called 1,950 contestants of the 2,000. We couldn't get a hold of all 2,000. I couldn't find a single broken bone. Yeah, online it's being claimed there's dozens. I mean, there's so much or even disinformation like that being spread. So like, which makes it hard for me to just come out and like talk about things like the pad thing and other things where, you know, we did mess up on little things and there are definitely things we could have done better. But then there's just like, it's mixed in with like all these crazy outrageous claims and it's like just so.
What about you not paying people?
I mean, we did, but yeah, that's something people like to leave out. We gave everyone who showed up. You could literally show up and then a second later leave and receive $2,000, which with 2,000 contestants, that's $4 million.
Yeah.
And we told everyone they were gonna get $0. This is something like, you know, this is the damned if you do, damned if you don't. So we told everyone, no guaranteed money if you show up. I'm glad you asked this. No guaranteed money if you show up. Like you could walk away with $0. But then I wanted to surprise everyone. Gave them each $2,000, $4 million, which it's a lot of money. I could have gone and just bought a mansion instead of doing that. But what's even crazier is then people tried to, not like the contestants, but the internet and, you know, their theories, tried to frame that as hush money. Like I gave them all $2,000 to like make them happy because we didn't tell them before.
That's what's going to happen. I mean, yes, this is the fucked up thing, right? It could go either way. That could go either way. We have to know that the plan was to give those people $2,000 leading up to it, because you can't just surprise people with this when you end up having some negative things happen during your games, like, I don't know, 5 people suing you, and then be like, it was just like a gift thing, because now you have a conflict of interest. Like, if they had written this up, if they had just been like, yes, you know, beforehand, yes, the plan was to give you 2,000, like, they're fucked, because if the people know that are showing up, they might abuse that. But at the same time, if you don't say it, then it's going to look like this. So it's like, both those sides can be real. Both those sides can be very much real. It could be like, hey, I'm giving you $2,000. I don't know, because like, if you're just leaving and you get $2,000, it's like, yeah, it's going to be hard to find a negative thing to say, but it's not like you lose. It's not like they're taking the $2,000 away from you if you ended up having a negative experience. So I don't know. I feel like that's a bit wishy-washy. I think both sides can be seen. I just don't know which one is going to hold more water. I'm leaning towards, yes, let's give everybody $2,000 because that'll look nice, because no one wants to fly out here and be absolutely, you know, broke and then fly back because they didn't win. But on the other hand, it could also just be like, well, $2,000, even if they have a bad experience, they're not going to give a shit because it's $2,000, and that's like genuinely, like, you know, 6-month time span, life changing for people. So it's like,
beforehand,
I don't know,
to surprise them as they got eliminated, and then people are like, you just did that because of hush money, and I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I also didn't give them like legal paperwork tied with it, like that says it was just like completely baseless. It just shows like how crazy people go with the conspiracy theories and everything like that. But no, we did pay everyone $2,000, and on top of that, we gave away more money than any competition show in history. I mean, we had the largest cash prize in history, on top of millions upon millions upon. Like, throughout the show, we literally give away like 8 figures, tens of millions of dollars. So it's like, I do all this, and normal competition shows don't even pay anyone except for the grand prize. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's just, once again, it's like funny because people actually compared it to reality. It's just not even in the same stratosphere.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of wild shit. How do you feel after all this stuff? You know, this is the first time you've been able to really speak in a broad, sweeping way about all the allegations and everything negative that's happened over the last couple months. Yeah. Like, what do you think your biggest mistakes were over the last 4 months?
You already know what I'm about to say. We've hit it a couple of times. I wish right after we dropped the results of that investigation, I could talk a couple weeks ago. I wish I just instantly did this. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold. The thing is, I've just never been in a controversy like this before. So I just, I mean, this isn't even a controversy. This is like 100 controversies.
Is bad, yeah.
Yeah. So I truthfully, I just was also just ignorant on how to handle these kinds of things. And so it's a bit couch addressing a camera on, you know, not just be weird. I'm more real. You do something like this.
That's so real. Yeah.
It's really important to note as well. People are gonna be like, "Well, he's media trained. He's got a PR team. He's a genius. He's gonna walk circles around you. He's gonna manipulate you. He's the Antichrist. He's the fucking devil horns guy." But like, you know, I'm asking questions that my team and I wrote based on information that's publicly available. And the assumption is after this, you're going to send receipts to back up any additional questions we have. in the post process. You know,
I mean, there were definitely a couple of things you asked me that I'm a little uncomfortable with. Like,
yeah, I mean, I can tell. Yeah,
I was, but yeah, I mean, just wake up in the good old days, because I get a sense you're winding things down. I just want to make very clear though, like, I'm not perfect, and I don't want people to think I'm trying to give off this impression you can't criticize me. Obviously there are things I've done in my life you can criticize me for. It's just this whole last couple months is a little unfortunate because they're like these things where, you know, sure, I do deserve criticism, but then it's shrouded by these other disinformation, all these things that are just being stretched and blown out of proportion and things like that. So I just want to like say, like, I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. Even though I've done this, like this thing here, and we're addressing a lot of things, like, I'm sure in the future I'll make more mistakes as well. Like, that's just the nature of, you know, you really have to just
there is more. He is in a lawsuit, but
your boy is going to make mistakes, aware of mistakes. You know what I mean? Perfect, or I'd never.
Okay, I'm not perfect.
The
Yada
final
yada.
message for critics be,
I think honestly what I just said there.
you know, still
Yeah, I'd love to see what they think and saw that. Oh, we didn't hit
in the soggy stuff today. I mean, I was like,
Just throw it up. Just upload this thing raw. Show them episode 1 of Beast Games.
okay.
Last part was completely wrong. We did miss a few questions, and I called Jimmy the next morning to get clarification on a few
Okay,
more things, specifically Ava Shadman and some more of the crypto allegations. Here's
Good.
that footage. We'll talk a little bit about Ava Tyson and specifically the Shadman stuff. I know we talked about the third-party investigation, which found no wrongdoing in like a legal sense from that perspective. A thing that a lot of people care about is Shadman's a fucking freak and is a disgusting person. Did you know about the painting in? Did you know about that? Have you ever interacted with Shadman before? Like, what is your relation to that, and specifically that relationship between Shadman and Ava Tyson and you?
Yeah, no, that's actually a good follow-up question. So this is what it was like. I don't remember 7, 8 years ago. Back then, I used to have like a bunch of anime posters up on the wall. I'm just like set a foundation for context. We used to have a bunch of anime posters and things like that on our wall in the house. And one day, Ava put up this poster that was like an animated character holding a fidget spinner and a gun. Admittedly, it was a weird image. I didn't know who made it. You know, I just kind of assumed it was a meme. I obviously did not know who Shadman was. I've never spoken with Shadman. I did not buy the poster or commission it or anything. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think too much of it because we just had like a lot of anime posters and things up, and it was an animated character that was clothed, obviously. And yeah, knowing what I know about Shadman now is a very weird thing to buy. I'm not really sure why she bought it, to be frank. And yeah, I mean, I wish I could give more details. I mean, this was so long ago. Obviously, I don't know the like exact thoughts going through my head, but I just remember, like, I agree, it is a little bit of a weird poster. But I also think, like, you know, I had like Naruto posters up, or I had like Code Geass posters, like random animes I used to watch, and like, you know, I never like
It looks nothing
reverse
like
image
Naruto
search
or
and
something.
Googled, oh, who made this Code Geass anime poster that's sitting on the wall or whatever. I don't, you know, I don't. Your first instincts when you just see a poster is not to just go, "Who made that?" and deep dive them. So
Yeah, are they a pal? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I agree. It's her buying it is very weird, and I obviously, if I had known what I know now, I would have been like, "What the actual fuck?"
Yeah, that's fair. Because I also, after all this stuff, I didn't know who Shadman was. I've heard of him a little bit on Twitter and shit, but I didn't know. Total ignorance there. So. Okay, and that's just one that's important, you know, people, because that's fucked up. That guy is disgusting, and you know, people do care. It's like you've got pedo art, and you were saying you didn't know. That's it's disgusting. Fucking Shadman is a freak. So, okay, you said that I was manipulated by Dogpack. But before that, you said that you DM'd some commentary guys or some YouTubers like evidence of like the Delaware stuff, basically context. And I just wanted to know, so you did reach out to me. We talked a little bit in the very beginning. You know, it wasn't like we were friends or anything like that. But it was very short, and like I just wanted to know why you didn't give me that stuff or provide me with any information when I was the biggest channel platforming Dogpack. I think that, you know, I would have taken it under as my responsibility to I hope people, would believe that I want to do what's truthful and I want to show the actual facts of a situation. I don't just want to like shit on Mr. Beast for the sake of shitting on Mr. Beast. I just wanted to know why early on you didn't provide me, I guess specifically, why wasn't that? Did you think I was a controlled op? I would have gladly seen whatever you would have shown.
That's actually a great question. I mean, we did have a call. I called you after the videos and I told you and explained to you a lot of things that weren't true. You're right. I didn't send you that Delaware photo. I guess I might not have even had that photo at the time because I think I literally called you right after you posted.
Yeah.
But I did tell you a lot of things weren't true and explain a lot of things. I mean, but yeah, agreed. I'm not throwing you under the bus. I didn't send you any cold hard evidence. Maybe I guess I was a little hesitant because you did speak with him and it did seem like you were going a little easy on him. So I guess I didn't fully know. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I did send it to people. Why I didn't send that to you? Honestly, I don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fair, and it's just because I would have appreciated is all I'm saying, because like in the very beginning I did genuinely believe that I like the idea of whistleblowers. I think people should be able to criticize the guy.
What is I don't know? Like what is I don't know?
Guy, we said that a lot yesterday, and you did refute a lot of stuff, but there was just I didn't get any sort of evidence or anything like that. It's just I think it's a lot of a lot of this mistake.
Yeah, I think in my head is I just called you, was like, hey, off the top of my dome, here's a bunch of things that aren't true, and then you just said, hey, you probably did say something along the lines of I need evidence, and then at the time that's where it's just like this is all a blur. I don't even remember what days it was.
Yeah.
Maybe back then was like when I was working on my response video or whatever. But agreed. Like I don't think you did anything wrong. Like I didn't send you like, oh, here's a doc of everything. You know what I mean? And then you just ignored it.
Right.
Yeah. So
because I mean,
I probably should have.
No, and I'm not trying to like guilt you or whatever. It's just this whole thing is really crazy, and it seems like it's gone so far just because you tried to do what was right, which is have a third-party investigation, and like a lot of the stuff is just because, which is like a really big problem, right? But also suffering from people not having convenient access to like just a doc or something like disproven or important. You've got evidence, show me, or anything like that. I've considered a Google Doc. I got evidence, show me, or somebody, or just like a Google Doc. I mean, because you didn't make me sign an NDA or anything like that. I've consistently mentioned that because I think it's really important, and I feel like there is a level of transparency you're operating with, which I respect. And I feel like this wouldn't have been as bad earlier on if like that, that's sort of the approach, which is tough. You've obviously never been through this, and this is not, there's only one MrBeast. So, but yeah, it's just something I wanted to clarify because, you feel like I was manipulated, and I genuinely, and a lot of other YouTubers as well, I'm sure, commentary guys probably don't feel like they're manipulated. It's just a drastically different perspective. You are MrBeast, so it's tough to say, not to say I deserve the benefit like that. I think how transparent this video that now a little bit more on the crypto stuff. I know I talked about CoffeeZilla a little bit yesterday. He's awesome. I think he does really good work on YouTube, and he holds people accountable. And it's just impressive. He does actual real investigatory work. Like, he's not the guy who makes videos out of convenience like most of other, like me and a bunch of other commentary YouTubers. So, I feel like it's my responsibility to ask some more questions about the crypto stuff, because we sort of glossed over it a little bit yesterday. And it's one of those things where it's note heavy, receipt heavy. So, if you don't know something, you just let me know. And if you have to go find information or whatever to back up what you're saying, I don't expect you're like a politician and have all your fucking, we're not debating philosophy or politics. Like, I don't expect you to have everything at your left hand. I understand you're busy. So, if there's information you can provide so we can put it in post, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay. So first one is Wu-Tang. You have said that you do not control the Wu-Tang wallet. You said that last night. You said that a friend did it. You said you didn't know what Wu-Tang was.
A fund did it. Yes, not a friend.
Right. Okay, a fund. Okay. On a podcast with Logan Paul about CryptoPunks, you talk about a call you had with Mr. Gary, where you claim to have bought and or sold CryptoPunks, but then later decided to roll the money into VFriends. And this is all like video, obviously. And this trading activity all happened within the Wu-Tang wallet, which we talked about last night.
Yes.
So if it was your decision, you know, if we're semantically, if what you're talking about on the podcast, if it was your decision, your trading decision to buy and sell the punks or VFriends, even though you didn't press the buttons, was it actually your decision? Did you press the button? Did you not press the button? Was it your decision? And if it was your decision, and even if you didn't press the button, it still, to me, would mean that you had control of those trading decisions.
Yeah, these are good questions. Actually, I'm glad we're doing this follow-up thing so we can also just put all this stuff out there. So
I'm so glad you're glad.
Yes, I did say that in the podcast, and I obviously did not press the buttons like I've been saying. I didn't pick what punks to buy or anything. Gary Vee, like I said on that podcast, called me and a bunch of other people, said CryptoPunks are the next big thing. I thought it was pretty crazy, but you know, the first thing I did right after that is just called the guy in charge of the fund who invested my money and it's other people's money as well, and just said, hey, Gary Vee seemed very passionate about these punks. You should look into it. If it makes sense, buy it. And so, you know, he did the research, picked what punks to buy, bought them. I don't even truthfully know how to buy punks. I've never bought one, like me personally.
Okay.
Like I've said, I don't have access to
But you
that
made those
wallet.
choices.
So, I mean, in other transparency, like that's kind of high level how it went. But you know, if he was like, oh, this is a shit investment, then he wouldn't have bought them. So he was the one who was doing the buying and selling and managing things.
Okay. But you did make some decisions to buy or sell in the Wu-Tang fund.
Well, I mean, yeah, I just told him like, hey, Gary, like in transparency, Gary called me about CryptoPunks and said they were cool. Look into it. I mean, so at the end of the day, bro, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know which punks to buy or which ones we should buy if it's a good investment. Like, that's why I, put the money in a fund and had professionals managing it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, they're stupid as shit. I don't like any of the NFT stuff. I'm glad that's all. Tweet, the Supercoin tweet. For context, on May 12th, 2021, you, MrBeast, tweeted in response to a
you're talking about Super?
2.0, and then you responded by saying, why did you not disclose that you had a vested interest in the coin that you were tweeting about? Super question mark.
He says, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, we'll start there.
Well, I replied to a tweet, so I did tweet it out, and I think a lot of people, that are just getting second hands of the story think I literally tweeted out, go buy Super, go buy Super.
No, they watched Copyzilla's video.
The fund did hold some Super, and I just saw that was the owner of Super, the guy who made the coin, and I just went scrolling through Twitter, just replied Super to his tweet. I did not tell people to buy Super or anything. I just replied Super.
That's not the point, don't I? Oh, but I was just talking about it. Dude, I'm kind of spurging out. I just responded to Super. I just responded. Like, I didn't tell people to buy it. You replied to someone saying, hey, what's going to be the next big thing? And you were like, Super? Brother, what?
And I know the next thing where people are going to go, but this was a planned coordinated thing. It wasn't.
That's not a planned coordinated thing, but you know that you have influence, brother. What?
I'm on the phone.
How are you acting dumb about that? I'm so confused.
With the people managing the crypto fund going, hey, I'm about to reply Super to this tweet. Like, I just was scrolling Twitter and I replied Super. And I highly doubt anyone bought it because they saw me reply Super to a tweet. I mean, just to be honest. So I didn't think too much of it. Obviously, though, in hindsight, I mean, I could see how people might think that is a weird look optically. And so, I wouldn't do it. But, I mean, I really don't think it's that malicious. Like, if I just flat out tweeted, I think Super is the next big thing. Go buy it. Super.
You replied to someone saying that, brother. What?
Super. I think this is a different conversation. That's the kind of stuff actual people do. You know what I mean? And,
scammers.
So I just don't. Yeah. So... it was just interesting too because Coffee never said I was a scammer in his video. Yet, there's so many comments on.
Because he's not going to court against you.
Just, a lot of people just want to drive, whatever. People who don't like me,
people who disagree are just they want to hate.
He said in the video, are not. It was managed by fund and buying or selling or any replied to is a big deal
in the last couple of years. Yeah, but now I mean, obviously with because crypto is that's definitely
low volume coins that Super is like the 100th big crypto. That thing it would be a good investment because exposure. We still hold Super to this day. But yeah, that's honest. That's the honest truth. I mean, nothing malicious there. Just replied to a tweet.
Yeah. I think I mean, we have a lot of evidence of people genuinely scamming, and it's important to ask about and important to get total clarity about because it maybe somebody did
the coin. I mean, it's a 100th biggest coin. And it's
so that you have it that you would benefit off.
I gotcha. I mean, I see what you're saying. Yes.
So now, I'm assuming your answer to this will be that you just didn't think it was important, but why would you not mention that your fund Wu-Tang had been selling and continued to sell Super on the day and after you tweeted about it or responded to a tweet for clarity?
Yeah. So again, I wasn't involved in the day-to-day of the fund. I mean, if you look at the sell charts in that report, they were selling, I mean, I believe off the top of my head, like months prior it's kind of the same answers.
Final one, which this one's a lot more complicated and involves a lot of stuff. So I mean, maybe you would want to reconvene with like receipts or evidence or whatever. But it's the crypto charity stuff. Team C's Eternity.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that one. Eternity gave us NFTs to auction off for Team C's. Only one sold after a day, I believe, and that was it. And then, it looks like the fund sold like 27 days later, a little bit of Eternity. It was not combined or planned or premeditated in any way. I mean, honestly, the charity auction was a bomb. It only raised $7,000. No one cared, so it didn't really do anything. That's kind of the full story. There's nothing nefarious there.
Yeah, it sold $2 million of the earn tokens.
Yes, the fund did 27 days later. Yes, after the NFT sold.
Okay. Yeah, that seems. I mean, it seems like a lot. I don't know what the market cap was, but yeah. I mean, I just for this one, I feel like this is a valid criticism, and this doesn't make you like an evil scammer or anything. I don't believe, but it's like this kind of stuff, transparency in regard to this kind of stuff. It's just super, super, super important. And you are the charity guy too. I mean, like if anybody, and like we complain. So we talked a lot about the philanthropy stuff and how, CGI has gotten you in trouble and had a net negative in your charitable doings. I feel like this is one where the criticism is valid in regard to charity. And it is a good example of philanthropy stuff that probably should have just been done differently, but at the same time, 2021 is like a huge area of gray for influencers with crypto access, and like it's just I don't know. It seems like a game that if you're a big influencer in 2021 or 2020 and you got into crypto at some point, you probably made some kind of mistake at some point. Problem to me, you being the charity guy, and this is once again to give you the benefit of the doubt with all the philanthropy stuff that we spoke about last night. I think all that stuff is huge and massive. But as the charity guy, if your fund is privately making like millions of dollars during a charity drop that your name is attached to, like even if
so again, that I would say is not fully correct. So the charity drop happened. One sold. The other ones weren't selling. No one cared. So there was no selling of NFTs to raise money for charity anywhere near where the fund was selling before or after. People could technically still have bought those NFTs, but no one did because it just basically no one cared. So I just don't feel like that's a fair criticism. Like
you put your name on the project and put it on Eternity. People are going to buy because your name's on Eternity. I don't.
Gave Team C's
just because they didn't buy the NFTs from your charity doesn't mean that they're not interested in the coin that you're like in support of because it's on that coin.
Some NFTs.
Is that crazy, chat? Like I don't
raise money. One sold, no one cared, and then it just basically died. And then just under a month later,
just because the NFT auction dies doesn't mean that the Eternity coin goes down.
looks like the fund sold some tokens, completely unrelated to all this. So
it didn't matter because no one gave a shit about buying the NFTs as opposed to the coin itself.
it's not like this. Where's a charity drop that was selling hundreds of NFTs a day, and in the middle of all of it, they sold some earn tokens. It's like one NFT sold, raised money, the charity, sell just basically.
Why didn't he just pump it a bit? Well, that's the assumption, is that he did pump it a bit because he put his name and his Team C's project on that coin, and they had bought a shit ton of the coin and then sold a bunch of the coin midway through the charity event, which he was backing with his Team C's, which is tied to MrBeast. Like,
basically died. It's not going. No one's buying it. No one ever buying it anymore. And almost a month later, it sold. So, I mean, if anything, it looks like the people in the fund were being cognizant of it and paused selling and waited till long after it ended to do it. You know what I mean? So I actually disagree. I don't think anything nefarious was done there, to be honest.
Okay. Just to be clear, though, you keep saying a couple coins or like you're downplaying it. It's $2 million of earned tokens. That's quite a bit. That's like a lot of money.
Of course. And obviously not all of it is mine. It's the fund. But it was also known that my fund was invested in it, and I was a part of the fund. So it's also not like it was hidden that we were invested.
What? I need to.
Invested in it, and I was a part of the fund. So it's also not like it was hidden that we were invested in Earn. Like, that was public information.
Right. Cool. Yeah. You just, maximum transparency there. It's like, if there's any other information you want to send in regard to that,
but clearly does not like this answer.
I've got the DMs of from Nick Rose, the CEO of Eternity Chain, talking about that there will be a 2-month auction for charity, and that quote unquote MrBeast is supporting both drops, which obviously that's not you saying that is this guy, but yeah, it's just something to be super transparent about.
100%, and I'm glad I could give color on these things, to be honest. So I'm glad people now can see what I have to say on both those things, and I actually appreciate this follow-up call. And this is good. Like, now I actually feel like I mean, unless you have any other questions, everything's been hit.
No, that's it. I mean, I can't. Can you think of anything?
I'm actually never doing that again.
Okay, one sec here.
Dollars of earned tokens. That's yeah. It's just something to be super.
I'm glad people now can see what I have to say on both those things, and I actually appreciate this follow-up call. And this is good. Now I actually feel like I mean, unless you have any other questions, everything's been hit.
No, that's it. I mean, I can't. Can you think of anything?
I'm actually never doing that again.
Okay. So what did you guys think? Let's check some initial. Yeah, dude, Dogpack getting sued? Seems to be yes. Seems to be yes. I'm gonna get your chat over here. Fluff piece. I don't know. I think there were some good points. I want to see what you guys have to say, though. Hold on. Hold on here. Ooh, sorry, that was loud as fuck. Here's the got the exclusive interview out of all people. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's take a look. It was all no's. Okay. So I guess let's start with me. Yeah, that seems weird. This degree of separation with him from the from like the actual from the thing. Hop in my also join my Discord if you guys are interested. Let me see. If you guys want to talk, I'll hop into voice chat after so we can chat. There's the Discord. I feel like it was just a Q&A, not an actual interview. Well, that is what an interview is. It's a Q&A. You're talking about a debate. I think Oompa kind of pushed on that at the end. But okay, overall, I feel like it was kind of, I know we're going to say softballs and stuff, but this was a question and answer. I don't think he pushed on some serious stuff. Amazon Games, he didn't really talk about workplace culture. I'm trying to think. God, I wish there were timestamps. Sorry, my head is mush. This was a theatrical production simulating an interview. He could have pushed way more, but it just let Jimmy get away. I'm very interested to see the lawsuit. He didn't bring up Adderall. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he kept playing it as like disinformation, which arguably, not really arguably, there was a lot of that. Well, I would say misinformation. I'm not going to act like those people didn't know. I mean, people are dumb, sure, but I don't take that as people know. Let's go through, shall we, the document? Yeah. Let's go through the document. Okay. Okay, let's take a look here. So we go here. So this is the doc that they come. Some form of statement, documentation, or acknowledgement from Quinn Emanuel about going through communications of employees, including Jimmy's, to show that this did happen. July engaged. I think this is just what we saw immediately to protect. Yeah, okay, this is just what we saw before. This is just that document. Is there any documentation showing a standard operating procedure or HR materials regarding an anonymous tip line to show this is active? Here's their anonymous tip line. Okay. How many of your videos do you use CGI in? It's hard to say an exact percentage. Made of an explosion claiming it wasn't real. It was real. We just touched it up in post. Even you mentioned in our podcast the text in video is technically CGI. It's hard to give you a specific percentage, but as far as large video altering examples, it's so incredibly minimal and expensive. We rarely use it. Okay. What is the link for the refunds? There's the refunds. Are the records we can show of the incidents of harassment that were found to have transpired rather than just a yes, they happened? Unfortunately, I can't because it's confidential and protected by attorney-client privilege. That makes sense. Can you provide the audits of Beast Philanthropy? Here's a link. I don't think anyone doubts the philanthropy. Do you approve the $1 million you got to give to Beast Philanthropy? There it is. You claim to use a union for the Beast games, so they use these two unions. So for employees and Directors Guild, is there proof of people leaving immediately after arriving at challenge when they get there? Yes. At the time, used my girlfriend Dia talking about it in a podcast.
And a lot of people came, got their COVID tests, and they tested positive. And the girls somehow ended up with way too little contestants. So I got a call randomly from the studio, and they're like, we need a female. I'm like, well, I am a female.
Last time I checked.
Okay.
I guess I could.
So I don't think that's covering that. Maybe it's later in it. Jimmy states that, sorry, I just have to make sure. One sec here. Okay, cool. Sorry, there we go. I just wanted to make sure I was good on one thing. Could Jimmy shows receipts for the recent payment for the 1,000 eyes? I believe they said that they got the money. Can Jimmy supply any receipts to show that 100 wells were built or any other information? Wells was partner of this. His website. Can Jimmy provide any purchase receipts, pictures, or videos proving he worked with Peruvian cocoa farms before switching to Tony's? My old manager Reed. Yep. Can Jimmy show any photo? This is kind of already confirmed. Here's some tweets people made when they saw me in Ghana to prove I was there. Below are photos of me working in farms in Ghana. About the chocolate, I believe. Do you have any examples? Okay, and then this was the YouTube drama shit that we kind of already went over. Last Rosanna. Okay, there's more drama. And this is the philanthropy annual report. Okay. So that's it. That's all we got. There's no crypto stuff. Okay. Goddamn. All right. So I don't know, not a whole lot, just kind of covering. There was a lot of philanthropy talk. Was philanthropy maybe it's more important to him than us? I don't know. It's not the best choice for an interview because I don't know, man. It feels like it was sort of biased. It could be wrong. I don't know. Here's the thing. I feel like people are looking for I don't want to say an attack piece because I don't mean it like that, but like a very critical, like an interrogation, I guess. But like that's not what was gonna happen. Like if I interviewed MrBeast, I would have done the same kind of thing. Like maybe I would have asked different questions, but I would have done the same thing that Oompa is doing. Like you do that, and at the end, he has a bit more hard-hitting stuff, but it wasn't like he was pushing him on shit. I agree, Hornet. He says not fake, then uses tons of CGI. The point is he lies often. Right. I don't think that CGI matters much compared to the other stuff, like the Amazon games, etc. I don't like Dogpack, but MrBeast is actually insufferable. Sure.
You do this.
Let me go back to the video.
Are you going to sue Dogpack?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, you answered it towards the end, but like, do you regret that, obviously?
Yeah, I saw those memes.
What did you guys think about I don't know. I didn't like the hospital bit. I'll try to make a video tomorrow about this.
Nothing, you give it.
I feel like I want to compile my thoughts. I feel a bit scatterbrained. This is a lot to go through.
And inevitably, like I said, you
Just personally that I fuck.
Exactly.
I had no idea.
I feel like there was a lot of fluff in this, but that's just kind of like how it is when you do it raw. I think Oompa was just being respectful of that. I don't know. I don't think Oompa was doing this in any bad way. I think he absolutely, of course, had bias going into this, and I think he had some good points where he was clearly frustrated, being like, "Why wouldn't you have told me any of this? Why wouldn't you have told me after I had talked with Dogpack? Like, why wouldn't you have done these things?" And I think those are legitimate criticisms, and I really liked his conversation with him at the end when he was like pushing him on like you shouldn't have done that with the money and with the charity. And Jimmy was like, "No, I don't think so," and he just clearly was not cool with that answer. So I don't think it's all bad. And then I don't know. The entire argument from Jimmy's side seems like it could be summed up with, "I just didn't know, man. I was just inexperienced, bro. I just didn't know, my boy." And I don't know what to think about that. I feel like there's a great deal that he's leaving up to inexperience and being a child. Also, the Delaware thing, I mean, look, we already know that Jake the Viking isn't a very credible source. Like, he was like, Jimmy knew. Also, my brother did nothing wrong. My brother, he's going to beat the allegations. He did nothing wrong. So it's like, okay, well, if you're telling him that Jimmy knew he's a registered sex offender, but then you're flipping back and being like, well, he did nothing wrong, though. So he wasn't, like, you're saying he was falsely, like, how are you going to use that as, like, to give shit to Jimmy for hiring them and knowing when you're saying that it wasn't even a thing that he did? Like, that's kind of my issue with the other side of that, which makes it less credible. Do you think it's over for Dogpack? Unless he comes out with some crazy shit. Yeah, I do. Because I do think that they could very easily develop a case against him, whether I agree with it or not. I think the proof is in the pudding. And I think that my bias impacts my ability to correctly assess that. So Yeah. Oh, also, yeah, they didn't cover the signatures. That is misleading. That they didn't tell anyone that they were having anybody else sign it. I mean, if you sat down and thought about it, the amount of shirts that they would be selling is so insane that there's no fucking way Jimmy could have signed them all. Beast's most powerful shield is being inexperienced, and I can't know everything happening in my company. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that answers all the questions, though. Everyone knew about Delaware. Yeah. So again, it's another hearsay thing. It's like, well, everyone knew about it. Well, we have to go off of either Jimmy or him, and Jimmy's like, I don't remember, and then Matt's like, well, everyone knew. So it's like, also the gambling was skipped. That is also a great fucking point. So why didn't you just put that money into the philanthropy? Just rewatch his first video. They didn't cover LaQuoya either. That is also a great fucking point. I highly recommend, if you guys aren't on my Discord, if you guys could send me, hop in the Discord, go into the drama channel, and just put next to your text, put up the things that you notice that they don't cover, the things that they didn't go into, and I want to address those points and at least collage them in the video that I'm going to make tomorrow. Being like, these are still things that were not addressed in this video and were avoided. If I don't pick all of yours, there's it's either I don't think it's useful or I just have too small of a list. Do it in the drama chat. It's drama with the nails. And just put don't at me, but just put this is as Quinthio requested. Here's a list of things that were not covered in the Oopaville video. Something along those lines. I thought they did say something. Say something about what, Landon? Should be the drama with the fingers. You should see it. It's like they're painting their nails. I doubt a second interview is going to happen, though, even though it's needed. I think it will if people are pushing back enough. It sounds like his defense for why... Sorry, I'm playing with things. The defense for why he... Can you rate the video out of 10 if it was reliable, good info, etc.? I'd say I'd say 7. There's a lot of stuff that isn't answered, but I think he also does talk about a lot of stuff. And it's just, I mean, I just at the bare minimum, and don't take this as I'm happy about this, but I appreciate that Jimmy actually went on to do an interview. That does mean something at the bare minimum. And the fact that he did it with someone who I don't trust as this god tier investigative journalist, but I do respect him enough to know that he's acting in good faith. Oompa is not acting in bad faith. He is not presenting something that he himself doesn't believe. To be fair, Oompa was maybe not allowed to ask the questions because MrBeast team may have asked Oompa not to. He would have had to sign an NDA, and Oompa said repeatedly that he did not sign an NDA for this. So I don't think that that's true. Will be restored or not? I think it will to some extent, for sure. As I was talking, he was talking Delaware, not LaQuoya, when he first said I did hire him. Okay, gotcha. All good. Ultimately, I don't think it will change much. Some answers are good rebuttals, but a lot of it was kind of just nothing. People who don't like him won't be won over and vice versa. I agree. I find his body language incredibly strange for the video. Would that be worth looking into, such as behaviors that suggest deception? Yeah, but it's a bit more conspiratorial. There are so many influences and pressures that be right now that it's not you can't judge someone's behavior, bodily behavior, especially when they are media trained, when they are PR trained, because there are so many different influences that can affect how he's sitting, how he's doing those things. He knows he's being recorded. There's way too many layers to that I think we could reasonably take anything useful out of assessing that, to just be real with you. I saw it. Yeah, he's trying to be comfortable. He's trying to be relaxed. He needs to be. He has to be, if he doesn't look relaxed, it's going to look bad. If he looks relaxed, it's going to be bad. I'm not saying that forensic psychology is a pseudoscience. Maybe it is. I didn't know that. I'm just saying that this is it's like trying to predict the weather, I guess, in that sense. In a vacuum, you could, because you can make water dissolve into steam and then let the cloud fall. But actually, meteorology is 50% guesswork, And when it comes to this, there's guesswork because there are so many factors involved. Even media trained people, their body talks even a little. Yes, but if you're trained to make sure your body doesn't talk a little or is very subtle, it's not going to matter. Yeah, it leans into it. There's just too many variables. Definitely say it's a science. Right. Or getting it down to a science. But I think altogether, it was decent. It's definitely something to sink my teeth into. I'm excited to make a video about it. Throw it in the chat. I'm going to take a break so I can piss. And probably take my dog out. I'll end stream, but hop over to the Discord, and I'll chat with you guys till like 11, and then probably hop off. But thank you guys for being here. I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say, and we can have a little bit of discourse over on the Discord. So I'll post that one more time. But thank you guys so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you guys being out here. Yes, I just posted a link. What time zones are you? It is 11:30 for me. It is 10:30 for me. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining stream. Come check them out if you like video games and stuff. Come hang out, support me, become a member. It's only $1, something like that. Got to do my shameless plugs like the stream. Thank you for covering this. Thank you so much, Ian Magoo. I appreciate that. Take care, CCG. Take care, Shelf. Thank you guys very much. And yeah, have a good night. Adios.